All right. And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebantis back on that Friday morning flow. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since we talked. It's been a minute since we've done an early show. It's been a minute since just been us.
Yeah.
What's going on, E? How you been, man?
Been good. Been busy. Work is still, kind of doing its thing, but like for Outriders and Destiny, trying to keep track of both, and then the internet blew up with like patch changes and stuff. But I've just been having a lot of fun with Outriders, and we'll talk about like the changes and stuff. But it's been really refreshing playing that with just some of the potential that's in there, the fun, and it's like I'm not gonna say it's a perfect game, but
Right.
it's like it's just been a lot of fun and it's felt really good. It's just been one of those where I haven't even hardly like I made a Lost Sector video once, but it really hasn't been that much. Like
I feel you. Yeah, same boat, man. I've been having a ton of fun with Outriders. I've been playing like inconsistent. Like I've had a couple days where I've played a lot, and then I've been busy a lot, so I haven't got a chance to play as much as I want to. But the times I played is literally exactly what you said. Just been having an absolute ball. Does the game have some issues? Absolutely. But the fun factor for me has still been very high. That allows me to just say, you know what, even despite all these issues or whatever, I'm still having fun. But yeah, man, it's been good. Got my techno build going, learning things and learning about eventual things that will happen to said build, but we'll get into that. And then, my frozen. They said we losing cog. Wait,
yeah,
I lost?
you are
I'm
breaking
in the
up.
ether. I'm in the ether. They
Yeah,
said
you're breaking up, and I'm trying to see like if I can change servers, and I'm
change
like, where?
servers.
I'm trying to figure out where I used there. Here, let me see if I can do.
We get. All right. You got to get me back. They said I got the robot voice too.
Yep. There we go. That'll work. Should be better now.
He said, stop your downloads. Listen, man. Anyway, hopefully I'm back now. But like I said, it's just been a ton of fun, man. Just like I said, messing around with builds, playing with people at different levels, stuff like that. I got my first legendaries.
Nice.
I'm all legendary. I got the achievement, all legendaries, and I got my first. Well, y'all call them the one that I call exotics. What do they call legendaries? The ones that with the
legendaries
gold.
are orange or exotics. You say epics
Orange.
are purple.
Yeah,
epics are purple, like yellow, orange, gold, pewter, whatever weird. That color. That's the legendary. Those are the ones with names and tier 3 perks. Yeah, those are.
I got all purples, and I got this sick epic helmet. I don't like the way it looks, but it is one of the most survivability builds. It's crazy. Like whenever my health goes down, I get this extra health thing.
Yep.
It's
shield?
like a barrier.
You get a shield?
Yeah. It looks like an old Russian helmet.
Nice.
For a Technomancer, but it's really strong. And man, I've been having a bunch of fun with the game, man. Ton stuff to talk about with this.
Yeah. I was like, I think that's where we'll start, honestly, because I think that's what's been occupying a lot of our time. So as for at least when it comes to the kind of run of show, as we've been mostly playing a lot of Outriders, I did want to start there because that's been a lot of the week. We got changes for Destiny that are coming up in the future. But to start, like I've spent my entire week playing Outriders, so we'll start there. We will have timestamps down below, you guys. So if you want to check those out to see, like, jump to the Destiny stuff or the Outrider stuff, so we'll definitely have those. And also, I wanted to say for you guys as well, if you watch this on video, whether it's Iron Lord's podcast or Ebontis YouTube channel, please drop likes, comment, subscribe, follow, all those good things. You can find both of us on Twitter, and of course, you can also find us on audio only. Take us in your pocket, on your phone, on your podcast platform, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, like 9 other podcast platforms. If you look for us, it's just the Lord or the Last Word podcast with Ebontis and Lord Cognito. If you just look up like Ebontis or Cognito, you're probably going to find us in the podcast world. It's a pretty small list. So
we out here.
So yeah, it's like I know last week we kind of got a little high level in Outriders, but now we've had a little more time into it. I've definitely put some in-game grind in there. I just wanted to see where you at in it right now. First off,
actually haven't really advanced the story much. I'm like level 20.
Okay.
I just been taking my time. I've been doing a lot of the side quests.
Yeah.
Now I have a confession.
Yeah.
So I found that exploit that is gonna get nerfed. And the exploit shot to El Boogie that that I could farm the 2 legendaries, and it's like a wild hunt or something. And
Yeah,
I
you
don't know
go
if you
through all
know,
the hunts. You go through the 9 or 8 hunts or whatever.
it's one particular one where you go off and you do the little animation, you jump off to the side, and there's nothing but those enemies, Alpha
Yeah.
Profero, something Profero. They look wild, little crazy savage enemies. So you go in there, right? Shout out to Red Outdoor because it was me, Red, Addict. We had a couple people doing this because what the exploit? Is it patched already?
Yeah, it's patched.
Oh, they got it already? I thought the patch was coming. The patch is in?
The back end stuff's done.
When did they drop the patch?
Literally yesterday during server maintenance.
Sorry, y'all. It was lit. Let me tell y'all what I was doing. Now I can talk finish. Statutes and limitations up. Yo. All right. So what you could do, you go off into the side and then you kill the boss, right? It's very hard encounter. You kill the boss and then he automatically drops 2 legendaries. And then what would happen is then you let the rest of the ads kill you, rinse and repeat.
When you say
And
legendaries, do you mean epics?
Whatever the purple ones is.
Yeah,
I'm
purple.
talking in Destiny
I know,
talk. You know how it is.
You got to keep them different.
Well, it's up to them to name the thing more bolder in the UI so I can know what they are besides the color.
They call them purple things, purple drinks.
They're 2 purple drinks, and I got an exotic in there. I got an orange. Oh man, it's crazy. So yeah, I was in there. Yeah, Oriar Queen Dakota. I think that was the name. So yeah, you once you rough her up, then you get 2 of the legendaries, and you keep doing just rinse and repeat. Purples. So what happens is the only thing that slows up the farm is because of the server issues that once you rinse and repeat, 1 person out of your 3-man group gets kicked the dashboard. Then you wait for that person.
Yeah, that was the multiplayer. That was the multiplayer stuff. Yeah.
You go all the way back. Yeah.
That I will say those types of things are supposed to be fixed for crossplay. So the patch is coming for those. So
yo, Gavin's shout out to, he said 2 sips of that lean, that purple drink. I'm telling you, it was I iced out my whole character. I got this crazy build with toxic rounds as a technomancer. Like I said, I had exotic that gave me extreme survivability, which also got nerfed. I got with extreme survivability and Cam, what up? So yeah, it was nice, man. So I just stood there for a while, and then other than the outside of the exploit, I was helping a lot of new people. So my cousin he got Outriders or the Series X. I tested crossplay for a bit. There was some issues there, but console, PlayStation 5 to Xbox Series X was very good.
Nice.
I didn't even realize I could enable voice over IP, which I need to test. And me and you, well, we can't because right now they stop in PC
next week,
and console.
whenever the patch goes, then that stuff's supposed to be. So,
but look, overall, my final thoughts is look, I love Technomancer. That is my favorite. It is so much fun right now. I initially was a turret guy, right? The freeze turret, but I've started to love the cold snap for survivability, to give me a bit chance to breathe. Blighted the toxic rounds for extra DPS, and then I love being support healer. So I'll use the what is it, the fixer wave or whatever it's called.
Yep.
And I'm looking at my teammates' health. Okay, he's low. They be like, yo, Cog, I need to heal. Boom, throw the heal up. So yeah, it is the most warlike. I like that, Gavin. Yeah, it does kind of well, from a support, it has some things, but it's really, I can't believe how much fun it is. And the last point I'll say, in most games, even Destiny, I don't use sniper rifles. I really don't. This game, I love snipers, bro. I really love. I got this what you can't say we wizard. So like, I got this sniper, right? It's a bolt one.
If you're a wizard, by the way, the warlock's a pyromancer, not a technomancer.
Probably so, but I haven't tried pyro, so I can't.
I was like, your wizard mage is pyromancer for sure.
It's something about the healing though. But anyway. So the bolt action one, so it's only like 5 in the clip, but the cool thing is anybody I wound, they get frozen. So while I'm reloading, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just this great synergy. The last thing besides the sniper, they have some of the best mod and perk and variant combination. You can take I'm sitting at that, what's my man with the glasses, the dude with the little, you know the dude you go.
Dr. Zahidi?
That's my man. I go over there. I'll be like, all right, I got this. I'm going to take this mod off, put it here. I'm going to change the variant here. It's so much customization with the most minuscule things. I love the minutia. That's the part of Outriders I love. And again, one more point, 'cause I'm going off. I know I'm talking
No,
about.
believe me, I
But
won't shut up either.
bro, quality of life. It's so good. I got all these purples. Click the button. You know, we got all these blues you want to get rid of. Oh, click the button, organize, right? UI. Hey, you open the chest in the field. I don't got to run out there. I press down on the D-pad. All the stuff comes to me. It's just destiny, yo. Quality of life, you need to learn from these guys. They got that down. We'll get into the negative, but I want to talk about the positive first. Now, what about you? I know you on Expedition Team 6. Where you at? You done beat the game 5 times. Where you at?
For me, I soloed a challenge tier 13. So world tier, while you play the story, is one set of tiers. Challenge tiers are when you get to the end game expeditions and the level goes up. So challenge tier 13 is enemy and gear level 48. And if you go world tier 15 in the story, that stops at your gear level and enemy level 42. So it starts to escalate a little bit more. Expeditions are timed. I mean, I have my thoughts about those they're a cool farm, but no, before I go too much farther, that's the piece for me that makes the game fun. And that's why, for a lot of people, if I could tell them, the demo doesn't do this thing enough justice at all. It's like, I sat there and I looked at it, I was like, okay, so I farmed for a little bit. I saw like 1 or 2 legendaries drop while I spent my crazy amount of time farming the demo. But I saw a couple mods, and then I knew in my head, I was like, okay, because I know I'm going to be able to break this down, combine this and that here, make my jigsaw puzzle piece of a character. And when you put all the different mods together you want, you're like, wow, this stuff starts to get really powerful. Bro. Because you can move it around. Like you get one ability and like, if you really want to go and like max out like your epic, you could put like 6 mods for one ability and like, this thing is insane. And it's it's so crazy and over the top, and yet you can still die. Trust me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's just that level of, as you said, the customization is fun. It's like they didn't go they went new. You can go very nuanced and deep, I will say, with like you can make really deep synergistic builds.
Yes.
But I feel like it's not so like it's not decimal fraction percentage. It's not the division fraction. Yeah. It's not that. Like you will still have like crit percentage stuff like that. That's there. So you will have some numbers, but I still feel like it's broader and bigger in a weird way than division was. And I don't know if it's just the specific abilities, but there's one mod. So like as the Technomancer, it's called Tool of Destruction. You either pull out a rocket launcher, which sadly needs a buff because it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Or you pull out a minigun.
Yeah, the Terminator.
And the minigun. And so there's just 2 mods alone. One mod, when you pull out the minigun, you get a amount of armor that's equivalent to whether it's your level, your anomaly power, or something. I get 150,000 armor when I pull out my minigun.
There's a mod for that?
Well, at my level, and that's the thing. Your mods, many of the mods will scale to, say, if it's gear level 48, it does this, versus if it's gear level 30, it's way down here. So your level of gear, like my light machine gun, for example, the firepower, guess the number. It's level 49.
Jesus.
Guess the number.
I don't know. I don't know.
What's your firepower? Like, what's your firepower on your gun?
I don't even be knowing my firepower's off the top. Like the fact that you know these minutia, like I don't even be remembering.
Well, okay, it's 70,000.
Jesus.
So it's like it's that. Like so the numbers start to jump like every level. You go from like 42 to 43. You're like, all right, 42 is useless. 43 to 44. Like the jump in firepower, the jump in armor's not as big, but it's still big. But the jumps in firepower are massive.
I got questions for you because I need to learn from the expert, the ambassador here. So you said the jumps in firepower. Now my question are like, because you're so far ahead, like when you fall in love with orange, when I can't call it exotic, but whatever, right? Can you keep leveling that all the way with you, or is there a limit?
No, you can take it all the way. It just gets very expensive. You're able to do it, and theoretically, if you'd farmed a lot of expeditions, I could take like a really low, like I have a level 9 from like the demo.
Okay.
If I really wanted to and I farmed, I probably could bump one up. You could theoretically bump it all the way, yes. So if
Okay,
there's a
and
legendary that you got like at level 14 and you're like, well, I
yeah,
out-leveled it a long time ago, so I put it in my stash. It's sitting out there. I get to the
right.
end game. I still haven't seen another one of those. Theoretically, yes, you could pull it all the way up
Oh, okay, okay. So
if you want to.
I'll stash those ones that
Yep.
have really great synergy,
Stash
and then
anything with a tier 3. Stash this game's legendaries, your exotics, your
right,
yellowish color.
the yellow
Put
color,
those
right.
in your stash. You may get a duplicate, which has
I
multiple
was just about to
benefits.
ask you that.
If you get
Okay,
a duplicate, break one of them down.
break
Now
it
you have
down so
that.
you get the
Yeah, now you get the
yeah.
tier 3 mod to work with.
Nice, nice, nice.
If you're not
Okay,
doing multiple characters, some guns may not really fall into your playstyle. So then
got
you
you,
may just break them down for the tier 3 mod anyway.
got you.
But
Okay,
yeah, you can
okay.
literally take a level 5 weapon all the way up to, well, I'm not even at 50 yet, but you can take them
Mhm.
all the way.
Okay, no, good, good. Now because I wasn't sure what to do with it, and like I said, the level up part, and then I like the fact that you could pick which mod out of the tiers to I guess to swap, and then it locks the other one. It doesn't
Yeah.
take it away, but it just locks
Yeah,
it,
so
right?
if you have
Mm,
2 mods on anything, weapon or armor, if you switch one, the other one's stuck.
right,
The main reason is that's where some of the grind comes in because you got to
right,
find the perfect combos. Because you
right.
got, especially with armor, you got to find one of the mods you like.
Mhm.
So if you swap the other one in, then you're like, so you have to
Now
find
let
half of it, which that's a thing Destiny could do. Like if you find half, you find that 4/5 roll or something, you could swap one node, and you're like, cool. But they're like, nope, that would take the grind away because they don't have as much variety when it comes to
you don't have
mods
that
and
much
stuff.
varieties because the thing that's the attraction. I think it's just like I said. I'm actually. It's funny. I'm pulling an E. I am infatuated with every armor piece I get.
Yeah.
And the guns are great. Don't get me wrong. And the guns have great mods and stuff too. But it's the armor, especially to pair it with the skills I want to use. Right. So I got one that gives me more, what is it? Toxic round uptime, or, makes the turret last longer. And or my fixed weight gives a little invulnerability in this resistance stuff. It really starts to play on it. And you could literally spec out every single piece to a specific skill that you love and have different variants that make it better. Like
Absolutely.
that's the part that's crazy. And it's just like the other thing I think GDO said it is again quality of life. One of the things I was doing, I remember I was speaking to you and you said, "Yo, the guy that I have is kind of like a glass cannon, but if I get you, I get you." Like
Yeah,
you're
my
one of the
my
most
build is my blighted rounds build specifically was a glass cannon. I've tweaked it now where I've got more survivability.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of the builds I was messing around and seeing what other people do. But at first I was like, I was heavy glass cannon. So yeah.
The thing that's beautiful about the game is I've never seen a game say, "Yo, every game I play with, it has a skill tree, always says you've got to pay this amount of resource to respec." And it feels weird to respec at will.
I did it like 4 times literally last night. I was like, let me just mess around because my buddy had some issues with his, so I wasn't playing with him. So I was just sitting there last night, kind of offline, watching a couple of people stream. Saw Chevy working on his stuff. He was like trying to do a tier 15 thing. Um, and I was just sitting there like, all right, let me see what a skill tree looks like. Reset it. And let me see what this looks like. And went through the middle tree. And I was just like, in game, it's like normally you have to go online to a
Oh,
skill calculator to see, okay, what's all. You can do that stuff in game.
in game, easy. Boom. It feels like I'm getting away with something. That's how cool is
But
it? And
that's
now,
like, why should that be cost prohibitive?
it's a good point. It actually makes you question developer philosophy, right? Because it's like, what is the mindset to penalize the player? Outriders, this is where Outriders is really deep and not getting enough credit. And we're gonna get into the issues, but the mentality is more freedom. It's more
Mhm.
just go out there and explore. Now we're gonna get into these nerfs and
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about them servers. But as far as the gameplay, why we keep coming back, why I keep coming back, is I just keep thinking about things to respect. Now, because of that, I had started off thinking that I like the mines or whatever it is as a
Yep.
technomancer,
Mod,
right?
yep.
And I was building my thing all for the mines and all this stuff. Then I ended up falling in love with like I said, the toxin rounds and this vulnerability build. So anything that makes it vulnerable, makes someone vulnerable. When I have I got a question though. You gotta help me. Do toxic bullets stack with toxic rounds or no? Like if I get toxic bullets on a gun,
So you're
does
saying
that do
blighted rounds on a gun. Or toxic. Use it once.
Toxic rounds.
So
right.
But bullets can have the ability to apply the toxic effect.
Right. Oh, but it doesn't. Okay, so there's no double effect. It just applies the effect, and it's a one. Okay. Got it. Okay, so that
yeah, if you're running blighted rounds, you don't need a gun that does toxic. You're wasting mods.
Okay, so what I ended up doing was I put a gun that puts them in a vulnerability state, and then I have a spec that makes them more vulnerable. Okay, cool. All right.
Now I will say, if your gun, if you see, this is where it gets crazy. If you go top tree, which is pestilence, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
There's a mod that if they have a toxic applied to them, they also have vulnerable. So if your gun is doing that, you're wasting. The gun's
making it vulnerable, and then the toxic rounds are making it.
No, like your toxic should make them vulnerable. You don't need the gun to do it. There's a skill tree node that will do that for you, and then your gun can do other things.
I thought I had something else. I thought I had another spec, something about in the vulnerability status, but you may be right.
It depends on what you're running. If you're running blighted rounds and as you shoot, they apply toxic and they're little bursts everywhere when they hit. When toxic is on, there's also a mod, or there's a node on the skill tree.
Right.
When toxic is applied to enemies, so is vulnerable. So it hits both at the same time. So you don't need a gun
to do that. Okay.
Doing that too, because it's already done.
All right, I'm learning. So now I'm going to respect that mod. I got more fun stuff to play.
But that's the thing. You're like, oh, let me move the mod and have a little bit more fun. All the time. Like there's all the time. Yeah, some Dakota said it in chat. Bone shrapnel and perpetuum mobile. Like bone shrapnel, when you shoot an enemy and they explode in a crazy like shrapnel bomb that they turn into. And then if you kill an enemy with 35% of your magazine or less left, you refill your magazine.
Yes. I saw that one.
So there's crazy builds, and I've literally mostly messed around with one class. I've been trying to like kind of grind hard on the end game, see how close we can get, like build up some stuff.
Weapons.
Yeah,
give me favorite weapon types. Give me what are you feeling? Like with it, SMGs, the shotties,
as a techno, everything's longer. So I've been going LMGs. I still like my pulse rifle. So like the Dude, the tactic, when I was leveling up, I liked the tactical assault rifle because it was the 3-shot burst. It was accurate, but also like the DPS of the 3-shot burst seemed a lot higher than the sharpshooter version. So like the 3-shot burst still felt good. I kind of let that one go. Then LMGs helped with.
LMGs are nice.
LMGs are nice for the capacity of the clip capacity. There was a time though I was just using like just the sniper with like a 12 bullet clip maybe.
Okay.
But it was all with blighted rounds, crazy amounts of crit damages, and I was 1 or 2 shotting everybody. And then there's one of the mods on blighted rounds. This is what my build has been about, which I finally apparently have to switch away from since all the nerfs.
Get a nerf.
Blighted rounds, if you get a kill while an enemy is afflicted by toxic, I got 30%, and then there's a mod that does 40% of my ammo back. So I'm never running out of ammo.
Wow, that's
literally
serious.
Never running out of ammo. So if a sniper can sit there and 2-shot somebody, and then the issue is like, okay, so you come up to a boss enemy, I got to pump a lot of damage in. All right. There's a mod called Bone Eater.
Okay. What does that do?
Crits don't cost ammo.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
tier 3?
this was the blighted round. No, tier 2. This was the blighted rounds build. Now, recently, there's been a lot of things that have been knocked down, so it's not as strong. But that was my build for a while. It was sniper for literally probably like half of the game as I was going through, because just popping heads everywhere and crap tons of damage. And then literally it was the final boss fight of the story.
Right.
My sniper was just not working long enough for capacity.
Gotcha.
And then one of the world tiers, I told you guys, like it was like world tier 13. I pulled the reward. It's the machine gun I'm still using now. That's what I used to finish the story.
But I
was stuck in one little area before you go to the final fight. I couldn't go back and recraft or mod or anything. I was stuck with what I had. I literally had to nope.
Gotcha.
I couldn't go back without resetting the story and then having to fight through stuff again. I was like, I'm right here. I was like, I just want to do it.
Yeah,
so I tried one pull. I got an LMG and I was like, oh my God. And it worked. So I was like, I've been using that one since. And that one, there's like anomaly blades within 6 meters every like 4 seconds or something, like 4 anomaly blades drop down.
Okay.
Well, at level 49, each anomaly blades hits for like 80k.
Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
there's some craziness.
Bro, it's fun, man. It's like just see. Now, let me ask you this, because this is weird. We're both the same class, which is weird.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. So, has there been any other class play for you outside of techno? In fairness,
I
you
started a
know, to the
little bit
camp.
with a Devastator. I think my
Mhm.
Wednesday stream was just like working on a Devastator, going through the
Okay.
story.
Now, where you at with that deficit? How much level? Like, if
I'm
you
in like I
earlier?
just finished the snow area. I'm not that far
Okay.
in.
Okay. So what's the
Um,
Devastator feeling like for you? Because I heard the word on the street, Devastator ain't getting enough love,
I was like, I mean,
Word.
it was. I mean, I have to switch my mind because the leeching of the Technomancer always getting healing
Mhm.
is a thing you get accustomed to. If you're doing damage, you're getting healing.
Yield,
Then
yeah.
if you switch over, it's all about the kills. Now you have some
Ah.
like life sapping abilities and stuff like that, which Trimmer I opened up, which kind of helped quite a bit.
Mhm.
And that's kind of one thing that's a very good question to transition into is
Mhm.
like new characters.
Yes.
And
Get it. Let's get it.
anybody who starts on Outriders, basically, you don't get a good feel of what the game's potential is until you get to about level 20. You start seeing the epics, you get
Yes.
lots of mods going into effect. Like until you start seeing like 2 different mod slots on each piece of armor, you're starting to throw some cool stuff in there.
Right.
You're not seeing what any character is capable of. That's why I was like, my Devastator still is like, I'm working with mostly blues. I might have 1 or 2 epics. I got an auto shotty, but nothing is really like really big working to get. Nothing is there
Nothing
yet.
yet. I'm guilty of that with Pyro. I think I threw Pyro away way too early. And what I'm going to do is, because my cousin got Outriders, I'm going to do it to do a lower level character. I'm going to make a Pyro and, play with him so I can really level it out and fill it out. I got to shout out Trickster, but most of the people I play with tend to be tricksters for some reason.
That was like the common one. They're like the hunters
Yeah.
of the game.
Yeah, tricksters, they've been putting in work. That bubble with then the spinning thing, and then those rounds, which are about to get nerfed. But that like they're doing some serious DPS out here. So that's my experience seeing them. I haven't run with a pyro or play. The one I play with tends to be pyromancer. So I wanted to see what that high level pyromancer play is.
Yeah, I saw it was just like a screenshot, and I think it was T-Rex and Fallout were playing together, and I think T-Rex was probably carrying Fallout.
Shout out to
Just he probably just got a little bit more time. I think Fallout was working on something. He jumped into Outriders a little later.
no doubt.
But when he jumped in, like you saw the damage difference, and it's like this will happen. But I was like, depending on if you're pulling something through, if T-Rex does 50 million damage during the course of an expedition, and then Fallout does 5 million damage, and T-Rex was the Pyromancer, it's doing something.
Wow. And I see the thing that
And granted,
intrigues
like
me is
Fallout was probably under leveled, so that's
under
a thing.
level too.
But still,
the thing,
yeah. No, I was just gonna say the Pyromancer has potential, is all.
The thing that I think Tassie said or someone said that is very intriguing to me is I want to know, because they say like the Pyromancer can interrupt bosses. And my thing is, a lot of times you fighting those captains or whatever, and they doing this health regen and they doing all this, and I want to be able to stop that. So if the Pyro can do that,
all of the classes can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Technomancer can. Our Blighted Rounds build can't. That's the difference.
That's the thing, because I thought the vulnerable status would do it, and
the vulnerable is just they take 30% more damage.
Right.
Or no, it was 25%. Now it's 15. That got nerfed as well.
Okay.
Vulnerable got nerfed, and 2 mods got nerfed from 30. So yeah, the changes like vulnerable is less effective.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the Technomancer build that I had, 1 mod used to do 30% crit damage. Now it's 15. One other skill tree node used to do 30% damage to toxic enemies. Now it does 15. All 3 of those added up, my damage is like 40% less.
That's insane.
That hurts.
That's insane. Yeah, that hurts. So we got nothing. As for the technos, we ain't got
you have the rocket launcher will do it. The shrapnel bomb will do it. The artillery launcher will do it. Like the one that you drop and it's like the wave of rockets.
Oh, that little short one that you just put on the ground.
Yeah,
and it's like a quick burst.
Yep. I hate that one. Like all of those. That's the thing. It's
so
like
those are the
cool
interrupt skills.
Yeah,
those are the
they literally. If you select a skill, it will say like
the word interrupt and
gadget and interrupt. It'll actually tell you if it's capable of interrupt. And that was the thing with the build is like I was just going pure damage. I couldn't interrupt either. So I'm always trying to dodge all the skills, or if they pop shields, I can't do anything about it. And that was the thing with the build. If you have interrupts like gravity leap, you jump in the air and go smash somebody. That's an interrupt.
Got you.
So there are benefits to other classes.
And there's benefit to the interrupt ability, because that allows you to stop them from doing all that crazy boss stuff that they be doing. All right, I'm learning. I'm in school with the ambassador, man. I'm in school with E-Rate. I'm learning deep level play.
Well, GMD had a question. He's like, what do you tell those that play Outriders for the first time, get to level 4 or 5 and say it's not their thing? I think fun. It gets fun at level 4 to 5 and amazing the further you go up, especially if you're grouped with buds. That's the thing. Is like in the demo, you didn't get to see crafting at all. You get to see a dystopian wasteland, which you even said you're like, I don't want to see just the burnt desert area. Like, spoiler alert for you guys, but I'll just give you biomes. You've got like the Sahara version of a desert. You've got the forest enclaves. You've got snow. You've got these like cool temple areas with like awesome like kind of alien architecture. There's some cool areas to the game.
Oh yeah,
it's not all like the dystopian city from. It's not just the dim. There's more, and it's like it's really hard. It's not. It's trying to tell somebody, like, hey, you need to get to episode 8.
Right.
In a season, be like, first 4 or 5 episodes are good. Like, I've been slowly working through the animated series, The Clone Wars. And like some people like series 1 and 2, I'm like, they're not bad. They're kind of cool. I don't mind. People are like, from like 3 on, it's like that's where it really starts to build, I hear, because you get like a couple different characters come into play. And then you can take that into Rebels, and like it's really good from there. But the first couple seasons of Clone Wars, I guess it was trying to find its footing. And it's like it's been slow for me to get through a little bit, but it's like eventually, I guess if I hit 3, it's just gonna roll. But it's kind of one of those. It's like if you can take a minute and just imagine some of the combinations of the modding, the like now you get 2 of each mod. So like instead of having 5 armor mods, you now have 10. Like double stacked, and then each of the weapons, and then you have weapons that do like lightning damage. And I have one now. If I get a crit kill, it's a bulletproof bubble just appears. Seriously,
they go crazy with it, man. That's the part about it I love. They really go crazy. But it's like you said. It's like you got to stick with it. Playing with friends is fun. I have to admit. Really,
I've done.
Has Stone been playing?
He's slowly been working through. He was doing the Devastator, and unfortunately, like he picked a hard class.
Yeah,
like he picked a tough class. So it's like I've been trying to.
He liked to tank. He think he gonna tank.
He likes to tank. He's like, and he kind of feels like he's stuck in that one. So I've got to figure out a build that works for leveling up. I got Tremor, which helps because it's this little earthquake that kind of sucks health from like 4 or 5 enemies around you every so often. Then if you can get some kills. But I was like, I will say as a Devastator, just running around. Before I was just like. I went through and blighted rounds, like nuked everything. It did. It was, I mean, I get there was OP while you're leveling up. It's not OP in the end game because I got to a point where we were trying, but it is like, it was still tough. And there are other builds that apparently are more powerful. As you level up, it's faster. So you may crutch it for a while, but there's other things that can work. But yeah, it's like for the Devastator, I definitely had to kite guys a little more and kind of be a little more like, elusive, because when it gets to like a boss enemy, and that's what I always notice, like the Technomancer was good against bosses. Your constant leeching is keeping you alive. You're a little bit of health, a little bit of health, a little bit of health, all the time.
I learned that a mentality to keep killing, keep shooting. Otherwise, that's my essence of the build. Continue.
I was like, and the difference is like most of the other classes, the Pyromancer you got to mark, and then if they die, the other 2 it's just kill up close, and you get like 24% of your health back. So if you kill 2 or 3 guys, like half your health or more, like you get chunks of your health that are massive, and you can even improve your healing received. Which, by the way, if you have anything that says healing received, it does you no good as a Technomancer.
Really?
Pretty much, unless you use like the healing ability, because the healing received is like from big heals. It's not from leeching. So,
what we're doing is considered leeching.
Huh?
As a Technomancer, what we're doing is considered leeching?
Yeah, we're leeching health. We're slowly like sapping it away.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that. I see him.
Yeah, so the healing received, if you see that on armor, it's not doing anything for your leeching.
For a Technomancer.
Yeah.
For a Technomancer. Okay, got you. Okay. I got some stuff to change. That's what's up. So we're going to get into these patches. And
yeah, we'll go through the good and then we'll get into the bad. So patch news first, and they are working on a date. They're hoping basically a week or so. They're trying to get it currently scheduled for next week. They don't have a specific date of like, here's the date for the patch, because honestly, they can drop these things anytime. So
Right.
Destiny's very much on its Tuesday cadence for like reset
Yes,
and everything.
yes.
This is just like, here it is.
Yeah, they just here. They out here.
So patch notes, these are first. They're going to be doing a lot of like little minor improvements, but the big ones, once platforms have been updated to the same patch version, crossplay across platforms will become available again. So they're claiming that will be there. Overall stability improvements for the matchmaking service as well. Crash fixes.
Please.
Yeah, fixes will fix a multiplayer crash that could lead result in client players having their inventory wiped. This is a big one, and it happened to a friend of mine.
Oh. So wait. What's the wipe? What's going on?
A multiplayer crash can wipe your inventory.
Yo.
That's
bad. That's bad. And we got to talk about this because I mean, we've been bloviating about how great this game is, and it's fun and it's addicting. But I gotta say, this is probably the most unstable, worst server game I have ever played.
See, I've done so much solo. Like if you play solo, you haven't seen that much, but multiplayer I've heard is really bad.
I literally have not gone a day without, and I'm talking about crashes to dashboard.
Oh, I know.
Where it's bad, bro.
Yep.
Like now, again, if this game wasn't this beloved and this fun, it would be getting dragged.
Oh, that tells you how fun it is that people work through these bugs. But yeah, it's like the inventory wipe. Now they're working on a recovery piece for that as well. So they are trying to get that going for people. So if it happens to you, it's not a live service game. Give it some time. Try maybe another character. I get that sucks. They said your blues and stuff probably won't come back, but the epics and the legendaries for wipes should be coming back. What? Oh, no, believe me. And it was something that happened in the demo, and they lowered the number of times it happened a lot. It's like they drastically lowered it, but still apparently been happening enough, but they should say that fix should be there.
Okay.
Certain mission launches, one of the side quests was crashing. So those were going to be there. They said fix the HUD disappearing. I know one of my buddies, another friend of HID, had HUD disappeared. Yep.
HUD disappeared in the middle of the fight. I'm going off muscle memory and animation of the character. Okay, my toxic round's up.
Yep.
Okay. I think the heal is up now.
Yep.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. So I mean, there's some weird bugs that happen, and they've happened to a lot of people. These are all supposed to be coming in the first patch, which is not bad that they're hitting a lot of big stuff in 2 weeks. But they are big enough that it's like, those hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Like, could you have waited 2 weeks for this? If this could be done in 2 weeks, April 1st, April 15th, I mean, everybody filed their taxes and then played on the 16th. I don't know. That's kind of the thing. It's like, and this is the whole thing about like, you have like all your testing in the world. Then the minute it's live, more people played it than you ever have. Whatever quote that was, I saw somewhere. I heard somebody else say it recently.
Oh, yeah.
You have more testing that ever happens. It's like, I don't know if they're just like pot committed to a date, or if it's like, if we know this is a thing, maybe they needed more people to see it happen, unfortunately, to like narrow down the bug. Like, we need a bigger QA, like sample size to understand what's happening.
Right.
I don't know, but it's like, yeah, that's unfortunately a thing. It's like 2 or 3 weeks later, if this stuff is right, have people fallen off. Right. I think a lot of people have had fun. The inventory one would kill you fast. Like, you'd be like, psh. Especially if you're like, I made it to like level 20. I got a couple legendaries. It's all gone. What the hell? Yeah, that would ruin anybody's fun. And
I still got to say the elephant in the room, though, because it's like, okay, I get it. You know, some issues can't be replicated until the whole thing is live and you get a true idea of server load and stuff like that. The only problem that I'm a little concerned with them is that what should be paramount is server stability, crashes, and fixes, right?
Yeah.
The only issue from the optics right now is that we're 1 week into the game, and they've got this huge nerf list about what they're going to balance in the meta.
I was getting there. I'm not even there yet.
Okay, because I'm about to go there. I'm like, that's my only...
I'm not
I love
there
this
yet.
game.
Trust me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. I'm ready. I was
trying to do
my bad.
fixes first.
I had my gun ready.
I know you popped off too soon. Players stuck in geometry, replaying multiplayer expansions. They also said matchmaking is going to be set to close instead of open by default. So if you don't remember that, it's just always closed. You can open it up. They're going to say many other fix improvements for PC, specifically for me. Will fix a performance issue where GPU is not being fully utilized. This should help the stuttering in DirectX 11 and 12. This I've been waiting on. So thank you for that. That's what's like, I want this patch for me next week. 1 for crossplay, 2 for that fix. So
we got a crossplay, man. Real.
So the next piece they're talking about is just multiplayer stability. They talked about that a little bit, but just the fact that crossplay should be getting, like, all the multiplayer stuff should be vastly improved once this goes live. Hopefully next week they're working on. So crossplay, multiplayer stability, PC stability, bug fixes, like for major things like that. A lot of that stuff is coming pretty quick. And I don't know if they just needed 2 weeks to finish the patch and they could have waited to launch it, or if they needed 2 weeks for a lot of people to see it and then they could narrow down where the errors were actually happening. I don't know if it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, but sucks they were happening, but still, that's a thing. As for the inventory wipes and restoration, they do have a specific word on that. So I want to touch on that in case it has happened to anybody, just to let you guys know while it opens slowly. Basically, they say restoration should take place on a specific day and it be a one-time event. So they're trying to basically get everything lumped in. The exact date is to be coming, but they hope it to be occurring in the coming weeks. So like a week or two. They'll update the timings. They said they'll be able to store most valuable tiers of lost items. Epics and legendaries, they're unlikely able to store all blue gear. But there still should be able to get, and that, again, you're probably going to be okay without those. You'll get crap tons of those. Restoration should be additive to your inventory, should not replace your inventory. So they're going to put it back in if you still keep playing. Restored items may not have the exact same stats as lost items, could be slight variations, but that's not bad. I mean, it sucks that it happens at all. Believe me, it's like that's a really crappy bug to even ship with. Like that one, the fact that it was still there when it shipped, and I was like, I thought, I didn't know, because I honestly didn't hear much. And then like I'd heard like they said it was like really small and minor, just a few circumstances. And then it literally happened to like one of my best friends. And I was just like, and he was with me at like challenge tier 13 in the end game. He was like 48 and he's like, I don't even have a pistol. Like it's everything. Like it was bad. So that's one of those where it's like, this one can ruin some people. Like, and this is where, again, what is the percentage of people it's affected by? How do you make that call? But that one, like if somebody's like, don't play the game, I lost my inventory, you could like, that's a bad one to hear about.
Snowball, right?
Yeah, so that one can be like, don't touch the game until this is fixed type thing. That kind of hurts.
Yeah. Neo Mental asks, even equipped items that happen?
I mean, he had no pistol equipped. So it was, it hit a couple equipped things too. A lot of people was like mostly inventory. So if you had stuff in there, he still had a couple things, but no, he lost a lot. So multiplayer, they're continuing to work on multiplayer stability and connection. That's there, but not to make you wait too long. Now we can talk about the balancing.
Yeah, let's go.
So general notes, they had the historian, bounty hunt, and monster hunt quest no longer grant legendary items for each subsequent completion.
Okay.
Players who took advantage of this exploit will not be punished, but there was an exploit, and this is why. Now, this is what ticks a lot of people off. You can go what the normal way. I don't know. I didn't actually do your exploit. I didn't know about it until this came out. I see. Yeah, you're one of those. You broke it. When you get to a certain point in the story, you get to a certain town, you talk to a couple vendors, and they open up these things called hunts and targets. They're hunting monsters and then killing targets.
Right.
They're in like almost every zone. Yes. So you go through and you'll have like 10 of them to do. Right. Well, you can go through, do all 10 of the monster hunts, go back to that vendor, and your reward for completing all 10 was one legendary. If it was the it was the targets, it was one gun. If it was the monster hunts, it was one piece of armor.
Right.
You were apparently getting. Now you said epics.
It was
purples. You were getting purples.
It was purples. I did get my first epic though in that same farm, but everything was 2 purples every time.
Purples or epics.
Yeah. Yep. There was 2 purples every time we did that.
Okay. So, and then that's not that. You weren't even doing the exploit then. You were just like you were doing what people were doing in the demo. They would go up, kill a captain, die, and then have him respawn so they could kill the high-level guy over and over.
Yes,
that's honestly just like farming. That's already been in there. Like, that's not even an exploit. Apparently,
that's safe?
Yeah, you could do that still, probably.
I heard, so I think it was Rand or someone told me that they nerfed that thing that we were doing.
I was like, maybe some of that stuff's been changed too. Like Historian, Bounty Hunt, Monster Hunts no longer grant Legendary. But the legendaries, like the tier 3 level items, people were exploiting those.
Oh, the gold. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the one I think, with the sword adjustment, we want to eliminate this exploit behavior while still making that quest line worth the effort. And that's unfortunately, the question is, and I'm still looking for clarification, because if you go through all 10 and you don't get one legend, it takes you a little while.
Yeah.
People at the end game can go like farm. Like, you can do high challenge tiers and get like, a couple legendaries, like yellow ones, potentially. So they'll be able to do it faster. But if you could go through like 10 different hunts, maybe at least like build up your repertoire, work on some of your duplicates. That was a nice thing that was still there. I'm still waiting for clarification if that's like, if the 10 still doesn't work. So they adjusted loot on specific enemies. These particular beasts are being too generous, considering the effort required to kill them. So this could have been one of those. 2 could be split 2, sand shift, or a cold claw. I guess certain enemies were giving more loot than normal.
No, fine.
Some of this stuff won't affect you.
Yeah.
But some of it definitely will. So Campland and Boomtown, they're 2 of the expeditions. They lowered the time, like all the expeditions are timed. So gold, silver, bronze, they have a certain time for you to qualify. The faster you do it, the better chance at higher rewards. Like if I do a gold tier 10 or something, I get like 3% chance at a legendary on a couple of the drops.
Yep.
So now you have to do some of them faster. I had one where like I went through and I almost had the gold solo. Like, it probably could have just been a little faster and had it.
Right.
After all the nerfs, I barely had bronze.
Damn.
That's how much they hit my build.
Oh, the build.
But also they lowered the time.
But also they lowered the time and the build.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, the issue. We'll get into a little bit more. But it's like, that stems from 2 sides of a nerf is a little much at the same time. And that's what we'll get into in a second. So keep that in the back of your head. So, but it was only 2. The other hunts times are still, or the other expeditions are still the same.
Oh, still the same. So just those,
Just those 2. I guess people were like burning through them, doing them quickly. I liked Kimtown didn't seem bad for a solo player. There were people who had broken build. Like somebody was like, oh, I was doing this thing in like 5 minutes. I was like, apparently my build's not that efficient. So then a couple changes. Critical rating damage multiplier on tactical assault rifles reduced to 165%. It was 175%. Critical rating multiplier on marksman rifle reduced from 250%, was 300%. So basically just the crit damage on certain things were too high. And again, that was literally going into my build. Everything was all about like the crit multiplying over and over and over. And those 2 just had the highest crit on top. So they they're bringing those down as well.
They got you.
Pretty much. And this is where it comes in. So bullet abilities, twisted rounds, blighted rounds, volcanic rounds. They said, while we fully intend to provide the overpowered feel for the best builds out there, we are also committed to making sure there is build diversity at the top performing builds. And this is where I have a question for him. Late in the demo lifecycle, and again, listen to the timing, we discovered a bug with regards to bullet augmentation abilities damage calculation formula. While we fixed this bug, some unforeseen imbalances were unfortunately introduced, which has led bullet-based abilities to vastly outperform other skills. The main problem with this is that bullet-based builds require much less investment to make them top tier compared to other builds. To achieve this, we made a couple adjustments for the Trickster and Technomancer classes who benefit the most from their bullet abilities. It's uncertain as to whether these changes will prove too strong or too weak, so please do consider this to be only the first step, as we will continue to monitoring and adjusting them in the future. Just like you, we hope to see more inspiring and crazy combinations of abilities and mods. So while the theory's right, some of the chunks are just big. Yeah. Like I already said, like I lost 3 things that dropped like an addition of like, hey, this mod's half as good. This mod's half as good. This mod's 30% as good. Those start adding up. Or like, my crit values are much smaller. I am a lot weaker than I was when it's all combined together. So the base cooldown for twisted rounds has been increased into 25 seconds. While infinite uptime on bullet abilities has always our intention, which isn't a bad thing.
Right.
So that's actually cool. The infinite uptime on bullet abilities. They're okay with that. It is intended to be high risk, high reward playstyle. However, given the current power of the skill, there's very little risk involved in this ability, given its short cooldown, even when players fail to trigger ammo and replenishment, increasing its cooldown. It was 16 seconds, now it's 25. Yeah, see, I will definitely say, like, the cooldown for the Technomancer, the Blighted Rounds, it takes forever. Like, if you mess up my build and the Blighted Rounds go away, I am, like, screwed. So I guess the Trickster's was a little shorter.
Yeah, because I always felt the Technomancer, it took a while for that cooldown, like, you know what I mean, to cycle. I always felt that. But Trickster, this hurts because my boy Red, he's a Trickster, man, and he was in love with that build. He was doing so much work, and now it's increased to 25 seconds. I mean, all right, continue because we still got more.
So the Tricksters, a couple of the tree nodes, Disruptive Firepower, Scion of Power, Outrider, Executioner, have had their power reduced to 35%, previously 50. So 3 different nodes went from 50 down to 35. So again, you're starting to see where the vulnerable status. So it was 25%, and that's for every single class. This is all the same thing. Just that power is reduced to 15%. Why? Because they put it in a lot of places it's stacked with these builds. It's literally because of that. Yeah. Technomancer damage against poison had its power reduced to 15%, previously 30%. And then what's not even mentioned here, there's one of the armor mods also had its crit damage reduced.
Damn.
So, like, that's not even listed. That's why. So, vulnerable, the node, and then one of the armor mods, which were all part of the build, all got reduced basically in half.
Let me read this part. With the Technomancer's Blighted Round, while the Technomancer's Blighted Round do not provide any damage increase on their own, other than ignoring armor as anomaly damage, they do provide an excellent tool for spreading the vulnerable and toxic statuses, which in turn can scale out of proportion. So that was that part that when they get hit with the toxic round, the other enemies around them also get the status effect. Yeah, so they're trying to control group people getting into that group.
Well, they just thought it was too strong because basically you would affect vulnerable to groups. Right. So they thought vulnerable was too strong because, like, you'd hit one guy. I could shoot one guy. 8 people were vulnerable.
Right.
So the spread was strong. But again, that was part of the build. I can tell you I didn't feel, like, broken. Now, some people with apparently, like, you know, the sharpshooter machine gun were just, like, literally clicking heads and apparently going crazy with it. But I wasn't there yet, so it kind of sucks to see mine. But apparently some people had some busted versions of it. And one of the top replies, they say, I'm a techno. While I felt strong, I didn't feel broken. I felt Pyro and Technomancer needed some love. So there's 2 pieces of this. The other highest voted comment, you need to rebalance enemies too.
Hello.
So this goes into the full combination of what it's like for the end game of how does it feel when you take people and they're leveling up? Some people are going to be at the end game. These are your, like, 1%ers. Not most. You're not even there yet.
Right. That's my thing.
And most people aren't even there. It's like, yeah, your 1%ers are farming like crazy. Well, okay, that's fine. But on the other side, you take, like, as I said, mine, I took like 3 different things, got hit basically in half. So you take those multiplication, the multiplication of my damage, multiplicative. You take that effect on mine and you start dividing it down the other direction now, it starts to really whittle that number down.
Oh, yeah, this stacks.
And then it's like, okay, so you do that, and then just the weird, like, knife turn is like, why would you make a couple of the expeditions have to be faster?
Yeah.
I was like, and I was actually watching Chevy, shout out to him. I mean, he threw my Technomancer under the bus in a comment, but, you know, everybody has their opinions. But on the other side, it's like, he's like, they didn't incentivize other ones. They just said, don't play these 2.
Just don't do that.
Yeah,
That's
don't do
issue.
this. This is too fast.
That's my issue.
It's not like, hey, these, you know, we're going to give a little more generosity here to spread it around. You can do them all that way. No, we're going to lower these 2 down.
Yes, I'm with you. And to me, the biggest indictment where they need to be careful is, bro, they 1 week into launch. 1 week, the meta hasn't even settled. Didn't like this percent that's using this. Like they're so afraid that I guess this is gonna go out like wildfire. And it's like, let it set. Like I'm playing a lot, but I'm not even, you know, 30 or whatever it is. I'm like in the 20s, and I'm playing fairly decent. But it's like, calm down, because my thing is, at the end of the day, if you getting, shout out to Slow Mo Back, so that's my homie. He's a big Division guy. Division guys were reading this.
Oh, like, it sounds exactly. Yep.
Yep, they were like, oh, people could fly at Outriders, taking advantage of that. And again, it's early. I'm not going to indict them all the way yet. But they've got to be careful because the key point is what you said. It never feels good when it's just like, okay, don't do that, don't do that, stop, 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 stop. Where is we got to give Bungie this. Where is the incentive for another style to come up?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's the other thing. They didn't buff anything else. Like, it's not, let's bring this stuff down a lot. Like, these are multiple 2 or 3 mods per class that you're knocking off basically to say, hey, these are too strong. Let's lower one of these down. You know, let's take vulnerable status and move that from 25% to 15. Let's make these things instead of 30, let's make them 25. No, it's literally half and
half. And then here's the thing. Let's be real. Like, again, I worried a little. This is a PvE only game. Like, bro, we are supposed to have fun. The strength of why we love this game is we are having fun with crazy bit. Why are we worried? Like, what are we doing? There's no other player versus player component. So why the fear? Why do they feel like everyone's going to do this and the game's going to be done? Do you not have content lined up? Like, why are you?
Well, I mean, you know they don't.
That's what I was going to get there. I was going to get there because it's like, why are you gatekeeping so early? 1 week into launch? And I'm just like,
well, it's like you take, okay, so I played for 50, 60 hours or what stupid amount I played. So I haven't even looked. I probably shouldn't. Yeah, I've played a lot, and my buddy and I are there, and he burns through games, and we both got up there fairly high. But what we were doing is 2 blighted around machine gun technomancers. We got through 13, and we like squeaked out gold on one of them by a second, and it felt good.
Good. Feels
like
so
14,
good.
Like he tried it, like 13 solo, like I told you, I was hovering right almost to gold. If I was a little more pushy, I probably could get there. He tried 14, he's like, dude, I can't even stay alive. So we didn't feel broken. Now, there are a higher echelon even beyond like me who played 60. My buddy's like ultra efficient. Like every game he plays, he doesn't care about story, just blows through it and like always goes for efficiency. Like there's going to be us who were like, we were close, but like 13 feeling good, squeaking out some golds. Like it felt so right.
Good, yeah.
And then it's like, you do this. And I'm like, I literally went from almost gold and some like solo golds to literally bronze.
Bro, I feel you. And listen, I rarely play this game solo. But what I tend to do is I tend to do side quest stuff solo just to get a feel of how my build actually works by myself, right? And there was this one mission, you probably know what mission I'm talking about. It's not even, for you, it's probably laughable. For me, this thing was terrorizing me, right? It was this one mission where they were like, this religious cult, and they were acting like shamans. That mission was tearing my old Technomancer build up. That was when I was going in there with the turret, and I think I was going in there with the rocket, or the tools of destruction or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't working. I was getting lashed. So then I came in there with a new build, health, the toxic rounds, and then I had some the cold snap. I debuted it, and Dakota's like, "We're supposed to be altered." Yeah, we are supposed to be. So it's like, and all this new stuff and survivability, and I'm sitting there beating the bosses, and I'm like, but I'm tactical. I'm like, it was just a perfect synergy, and I'm feeling strong. I'm like, yo, this build is good. And it felt good to solo it. And I was just like, man, that's a feeling I didn't have. Like, I like this. You know what I'm saying? This really feels like a good feeling. So it's like, now, when they encourage the nerfing of a specific play style, you've got to push the player in another direction besides just taking that and, you know what I'm saying, taking that completely away from. And that's what I worry about, because it's like, as a PvE only game, you've got to be careful to make your player base not feel like, yo, you're handicapping us, yo, you're taking the fun away, because it gets dangerous. And that's why I was just worried about content. I'm worried about, okay, now that, you know, eventually the base will get to where you are. You know what I'm saying? And when they get there, like, I want the game to succeed. I want it to stick around. And my concern is long-term, okay, what's going to happen? I don't think it's an Anthem situation. No. I don't think it's that, because everything you're describing about the expedition still sound fun, the timing, the loot, all that stuff. They're still doing 1,000 things better than all the other two. But I am worried now what happens once people get there. what are they going to do, especially if they're going down this route and not encouraging other builds. But what do you think about
I mean,
now that you're technically there?
Up until right now, they'd been doing literally everything right. Now, I will give them props. The communication has been stellar.
Oh, yeah.
The communication, like talking about it, even giving like their reasons as to why, fine-ish. But like during the demo, hey, we took like the legendaries out of the chest. Okay, we put the chest back for the boss fight. So if you want to farm him, you can still farm side quests. The captain still. They didn't take anything too far. Yeah, they need to remember that the bulk of us are not the glads of the world. And that's the big thing. Division did this. Like you said it, but I remember like it was like Division Tech or whatever, one of those little resources, and streamers had this like they were starting to farm it really readily and they were going to start farming it up and they knocked it down for them. What does that do for the average player? Now they have they have very hard ways to get that specific resource. Same. And it's no, it's just, and catering to that. Those people literally are crazy for a reason.
I think I know what it is. I'm guessing, but my theory is the Ebontises, the Glads, and you guys make the video.
I'm not on his level.
But you know what I mean? When you make your builds, right? The vibe I get is they are worried about Joe Blow and Joe Casual looking at your guys' videos and then it's spreading and disseminating, right? I'm not saying it's right because it doesn't make any sense to target that smaller percentage when the rest is not there. But it almost seems like now, okay, I'm going to make your video invalid because that build no longer works.
I mean, they literally did.
And again, they better pay attention to Division because all my Division guys, when I speak to them, they say, that disconnect with the fun of the community and them trying to put a figure in a dam to stop something. And it's like, bro, let them have fun. Now, granted, glitches, exploits.
That stuff. But I was like, people farmed a demo I farmed a dumbass demo for 60 hours because of the potential that was there, because it felt cool. I was like, we were farming this stuff. And even if I got to like 15, I still have a build to work on. I still would want to get legendaries. I still got to unlock the tier 3 mod to combine it into another mod. I still need to do these things. And people can do you can do a challenge tier 15 expedition. You may not get a legendary. That's not even a guarantee. So just the fact that you can run those, it's supposed to be a Diablo thing. Diablo showers your butt with loot like crazy. And they make the sponginess is crazy. The shields that come up, you got so many more elites now. I'm getting teleported around the map with spinning lasers there's a lot of crap going on. And I can tell you 99.5% of the people never felt broken. They felt like they were having fun. And that is why this game was so good. Yes.
That's why people love my thing is they're saying they're not live service. So in my opinion, you're Diablo. You're third person Diablo.
Yeah.
Right?
That's literally what it is.
Embrace the fun. That's why Diablo guys love it. They get all crazy. They get all the armors, all these builds, all these strats. And then, there's the world tiers. You ump it up. Let them have fun. What are you worried about? You know what I'm saying? It's too early to be doing this. And I'm monitoring them.
It's and the other side, you said it too, is if you're going to bring something down, if this is this strong, where is the other classes? Where is the anomaly power that doesn't match? Because it's the reason of firepower being that strong. If my one bomb goes out and does this little bit of damage and I got to wait for its cooldown. But and the way they throw the ads at you in expeditions, it's just this it's an onslaught of stuff you've got to fight. And unless I've got a certain set of abilities that are doing certain things, and there can be other builds that work, but I was you got to make sure that other stuff is buffed up strong enough to handle when they lowered the time on Boomtown.
Right.
And Chevy's right there with Glad. They 2-man raids and crazy. They do the ridiculous stuff because they're at that level. If he even says Boomtown, which is one of those, they lowered the time on that one already even a little more. He's like, that's just dumb. I want to see a solo person at 13, 14, 15. I want to see a solo build do that now. I want to see a solo and how many? 2, 3, certain build. How much grinding does it take to get to that build? Should you be rewarded when you get there? Yeah. If you get to the point where you can actually solo those that fast and you've made a build that gets there, what harm does that do?
That's what I'm trying to say.
If your build is at that, if your build is at that level, you should be able to do that. Now, if
Right.
you go to another build, you might farm to try and make another build.
Right.
But if your build is at the pinnacle, this game does have an endpoint. You are meant to get to that level of God tier.
That's what I'm saying.
You're meant to be able to beat you're meant to be able to get gold on everything. If you can get gold on everything, guess what? You won the game.
You won the game. There's a finite end. And that's the thing that's frustrating. They have a finite game that they're trying to stop, that if people are going to get there regardless. So, and here's the thing. When you have these videos and you have that small percentage of that elite making that stuff, that gets people to your game. When you get people to make content on your game, now you're nerfing that again. They better learn from Massive Entertainment, whatever them dudes from that did Division. They better learn, because these are the steps that got people to say, yo, I'm out. Because if you keep doing it, listen, it's early. We're going to give it a pass. We'll see how it goes. It's early. We love this game. We think the future is bright. There's a lot to love. We've seen history. You know what I'm saying? And you've got examples. You're learning from Destiny. You got the UI, the quality of life. You've got the legendary, the epics, all that stuff. You got great builds and post-apocalyptic looks and all these cool weapons. The weapons feel good. The abilities feel good. The monka. You got all these things going for you, right? Remember why people love your game, because it's fun. You know what I'm saying? And we get to do these cool things and you get to feel powerful. You're literally embracing the thing that Destiny is struggling with.
Yeah.
And the people who don't like Destiny are going to your game for this. Don't get into this fun police stuff too heavy, because there will be a mass exodus quick, especially when your game is finite. So that's my rant on it. But yeah, I'm glad you said it, man, because I really hope as we go on, we start to see, okay, this is what I want to see on the patch notes. We started to notice that, Technomancer users are not utilizing blah, 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 right? Or Pyromancer are not. And you know what? We've increased the buff here on this to now.
That needs to come when this happens, and that's the first mistake. Those two things needed to happen together. Not a weekend, not when your early access streamers didn't sleep and played the hell out of the game. For casual Joe who has like 2 hours every other day to play the game, who's slowly working through the story, and now he's going to hear about this build. He's like, started out cool, and now it's not going to work quite the same way. It's like, this is too soon without the other side to balance it.
Oh yeah. Shout out to do it. He said, where's this fire with Bungie? Oh, no. We give Bungie that work when they do it. But in fairness, like I said earlier to Bungie, for the most part, Bungie will do this. They'll hit you with this, but they'll say in the same patch notes, we understand this may frustrate some, blah, 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 but we're going to show you how we're going to build this other thing up to encourage other styles. You got to give Bungie
always.
that.
Not always.
Not always, but some of the time. Some of the time they do that.
This is their first note, but I was like, there's plenty of times when Bungie's like, yeah, nope.
No, I feel it. I'm just saying that at some point, I just want to see it. That's all.
Yeah,
we can't say that Bungie's never done that. That's all I'm trying to say. We can't never say a situation where Bungie's never. They just nerf.
I never said never, but I'm also like,
up.
There's plenty of times when they've just dropped a turd into the patch notes, and you're just like, okay, this sucks. Like that's happened
absolutely.
Straight up.
We're gonna get to that next. We definitely gonna get to that. All I'm saying is, again, I've never seen a game 1 week into release.
No.
That has a finite with no end game. Talk about, we nerfing all it. How about you nerf the server problems? How about we nerf
they're
that?
trying. It's like, that'd be a thing too, is like, hey, servers are feeling better.
Yeah.
We've gathered a lot of data. These things feel a little strong. These things feel a little weak. Not like, hey, servers coming next week, but we're nerfing this now. Like,
right, because that's why I feel away. Because all the priority should be getting this game to be functional, as opposed to they worrying about other. That's my thing. That's my thing, and I get it. It's early. I'm trying to be. I like the game. I like it.
And they say important balancing is done by a separate team to those that are working on preparing patches. Rebalancing does not impact our progress towards patches. So, like, of course, you have separate teams. I get that. It's more of the optics. Of the balancing. Like, people have issues getting in. They don't want to hear about nerfs from their YouTuber, their friends, or anybody else. Like, and it's not everybody that goes to YouTube. Like, 70% of the people probably doesn't even give a damn about the YouTube videos of this guy's thing. But also, it's like, for those who do, which typically are the more vocal and spread words, you want to see, hey, this stuff got fixed. Awesome, multiplayer's working crossplay. And you could say, hey, we're looking at these things. If you guys are in these builds, we are looking at maybe toning these down. They seem like, statistically, these seem extra strong.
Yeah.
Like whoever's running their Twitter has been having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Whoever he or she is running that has been having a blast. And that would be the point, be like, I mean, they dropped some fun word choices in there. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm loving this. That'd be the point where, hey, you guys with those like twisted and what is ours? Blighted rounds, like, you guys are kind of breaking our game. We're looking at that, just letting you guys know it's a little strong. Like, where's that to go?
Right,
like, they've had
yeah.
the fun. And again, this was just so bam. And I'm like,
yeah.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
okay,
yeah,
wow.
I was like, the fun police, exactly. It's like, tone back the fun police. And it's like, we'll see where things land up and stuff like that. But when my build gets hurt that bad, I'm like, there's only a few more things I'm going to be able to do to my build. Maybe one different weapon, this, that, or the other thing. And I was just like, I don't know how much more I can do on mine. At least, there's some nuanced stuff and there's tier 3 mods I'm sure I could get. But yeah, I was like, this was too soon. It was just too soon. So
yeah, that's all. We just feel with that and the PvE only component. That's the part people have to understand with with this when they do the Destiny capacity.
You're not hurting that many people this way.
Exactly. That's all we say. That's all.
So that's most of what we got on Outriders for you guys. Believe me, it's like I've had a lot of fun. I don't even know the number of hours I put into the game at this point. So, but I was like, I'm having a blast. It's like I still enjoy it. And believe me, I want to play the other classes. I will, because there's a lot of other varieties in there. But at this point, it just feels like the wrong time for certain things. And it's like the bugs aren't done yet.
Yes.
Just pump the brakes.
Listen, I'm willing to get this. I'll still love the game. Willing to give it a shot. I want to see where else they go with it. I want to see how they continue, how they do their patching and stuff like that. It's gonna be fun to monitor. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it was an interesting first week. Needless to say, you know what I mean?
So on the other side of that, we have Destiny, which I haven't actually touched that much in a little while. But what are you gonna do?
Got the Presage joint.
Yeah, so first thing on Wednesday, they did the dev playthrough, kind of deep dive into Presage. I actually haven't got a chance to watch all of it. I was kind of part way through. Kind of one. I know you said that you got a chance to watch it. So any cool nuggets you got out of there?
Yeah, it was really good. Shout out to Dylan. They had a lot of people there. Eve, the narrative lead they had on as well. About 6 people. It was really good, very informative. Just how basically structurally how they came up with it, how they went for the haunted vibe, the choice of using the what's the little creepy crawl things?
Screeps.
Screeps and stuff like that, and how just like early conceptual how things came together. They wanted to start the level like when you first go up to the door in this abandoned ship. How like from a level design standpoint, like a normal Destiny mission, you just go straight in and that would be it. But they was like, okay, we want to let the player know this is not going to be like that. You're going to have to kind of basically, they wanted to give the vibe that you're trespassing. You're not supposed to be here kind of thing. So that I thought that was done well. They talked about different versions of the skybox, different versions of how to enter it and stuff like that. They came up with the mechanic for the when you shoot the walls and stuff like that. They call them the darkness plants. They would call them the darkness plants. So that was fun. It was really cool. Then when you get to like the first boss encounter, how structurally they had these cool. What you would have liked about it is they really touched on level design. They really had diagrams showing like the structure of the ship. Like they had an outline of the ship and how each part would go. Nice. And then it would accumulating into the last couple of parts. Even the boss fight with the heating up the room and stuff. It was really good. There was a couple of guys that were very excited during the stream. There was one guy, I forgot his name. He was hilarious.
He in the bottom left?
Yeah. Oh, he was loose. Bottom left was loose. Shout out to you because you're a passionate guy, but he was loose.
I got through like some of the intros and barely getting started, and I could tell.
Bro, you know who I'm talking about. Bottom left. Shout out to you. We love what you do. You're a passionate individual, sir. So he was in his bag, and then upper right.
That was Eve, right?
Yeah, that was Eve. He was in the bag.
Shout out to Eve 900ers, guys. If you don't, I was like
star of the show.
Awesome lady. Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, I was
star of the
like, I'm gonna
show.
watch it. I just haven't got to
Yeah.
the full thing yet.
Yeah, she was in a bag. And then, yeah, like I said, it was just one of those things. And they talked about how they applied some 0 hour stuff. Because they said, because I think with the, like one of those things where you kind of see where you have to go, but there's that lightning thing or whatever. Remember that part
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they had that. And then I just appreciated the narrative guy there too. Like he really,
Yeah.
he touched on some stuff there and how like, you're talking with, Cato and stuff like that. And that whole thing with her and Osiris and stuff. But yeah, overall, it was a classic, solid Bungie Presage, deep dive what they normally do. And yeah, like I said, it was pretty strong. I got a couple of nuggets, and then last one was the trash compactor one. I love that one.
As soon as you get in there, you're like, are they doing it? Yep, they're doing it. Like that took like that long when I was playing it the first time. I was like,
Eve was responsible for that. She had a lot of say in that. Yeah, she had a lot of say in that whole design. And she was very happy that they pretty much kept the vision of what it is. And then lower left guy was like, yeah, then I decided to just drop screams from the ground. Just because I think Dylan was like, yo, whose idea was it that it's already tension with the thing closing on you?
And then just
like,
put screams in there.
Yeah. So that was funny. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a solid, informative stream. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, definitely look it up, guys. You can check out the full replay. It's on their Twitch archive. It'll be sitting there for a while. I'm sure, I don't know if they'll put it on YouTube or if that'll stay on Twitch. They usually, if you see in the TWAB though, there's a link straight to it so you can watch it all. So I'll dig back in to get the rest of that. But if they even have like, that's the old concept art that was up there. They're like, how do we use this for something else? I just like, it's a cool mission. And I always like when they go, when there's so much to, that's why I think some people underestimate the effort into each of these.
Bro.
Because you see a deep dive, you see what goes in, you got the narrative, the world, the building, the level design going through, and they're like, oh, can we have one of these missions like every season? You're like, like the dungeon, the secret mission is a lot.
They talked about how much resources it was just to get the voices of the dead people that you hear at that first person encounter. How much that work that did.
When you jump outside, you hear like whether it's Cade or the other pieces.
They said how much it took out of the audio team just to get that little part in there. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. It's a lot of coordination.
Oh, it's on YouTube too. Okay, Marvel said it. Yeah, it's on both. So yeah, definitely go check it out wherever you like to watch it. But that's one of those things is like, we want these all the time because they're amazing. They just take time to make.
Take time.
I was like, and there's not like an infinite set of teams doing this. It's like you got your senior people on it. You got your... So it's like, yeah. And it's like, it's very cool because I know Eve was part of the Shattered Throne.
Yes.
I know that was one of her things that she was part of too. And it's that world design too. And it's like, again, it's got a little more of the spooky tone, but man, it's just like the world design when you get in there and then combined with like the mechanics and the puzzle part, like maze and all those things that they put together. There's a lot of team effort you see going. The narrative's given the reason why. You've got the Kaido pieces coming in, the voiceover lines, you've got the art, and then Ansem down there, visual effects guy in the bottom right doing his thing as well. Like, that's a lot of people sitting there making like one mission. And there's a reason there's a reason the Destiny missions are so special.
Yes.
Is because they get this level of effort. So please don't ask for them to be rushed. Trust me, I would love one every month. I would never get tired of it. But to get the polish, the feel, to go through all the decisions that they get to, they're never going to be perfect. But man, they nail these pretty much every time. I can't think of one that I haven't enjoyed. Yeah,
they've really been killing. That's why, and I like that they actually celebrate their own team members and bring that information to us. Because again, devs don't have to do that. I mean, they've given us a behind the curtain thing about it. So yeah, it was cool, man. I always appreciate those.
Yeah. So, second thing on the TWAB was kilts for kids. Always an awesome foundation. Love to see the kilt pictures. They're awesome. The third guy is hilarious, though. He's sitting there
be
like,
in his bag. Yeah,
that one's pretty damn funny. But again, they said help us achieve our goal of 77,000. So they've got the donation links for that one. By donating $10, you get a chance at the emblem that's down there. $50 gets a chance for a unique Destiny 2 emblem. You've got the prizes. Postcard designed, and they go through all the different tiers and everything. And remember, guys, just like all of their stuff is always 100% to the charity. So all of these things are always extremely good causes. If you're in a financial place where you're able to, definitely look into these because, of course, Bungie's foundations and the charities they work with are always fantastic. So
always.
check them out. You get a little bit of, a little bit gets you an emblem, a little more getting you like copies of like, if you got a couple more things as you go through. I don't have to explain them all, but they're there. I mean, if you donate $1,000, like if you're sitting in a pretty financial place, you get all the prizes above, plus a 1-hour Destiny 2 game session with a Bungie employee and fellow Kills for Kids donors. Like, if you're in a good financial situation and you love this game and you want to chat with a Destiny dev for a while, they're probably not going to give you like spoilers on stuff, but you can play with one of them. Like, and it's all going to a good cause. So like random stuff like that's always cool to see. They used to do this tours for like $5,000 or something like that. Yeah. Can't do that right now. And obviously there'll be a new studio at some point, but very cool stuff. And now we get into your bag, sir.
Yeah. We got the Iron Futures, and then we got some balanced stuff, man.
We'll start with Iron Banner because that's shorter.
Yeah.
So hit us up. What do we got?
Yeah, so it looks like we got some new additions, and Season of Redacted is coming in a few short weeks. So they say Sally's got some new items for us. So we got a familiar hand cannon and sniper will be joining the fight. Both 2 new weapons also making their debut. Our goals forward are continue to bring some year 1 weapons up to speed with random rolls, but also bring some new rewards into the fold when possible. And they said this always depends on a bit on what resources we have for a given season. That's interesting. They actually said that. Yep. And they said, looking even further out, we're planning new armor for Iron What? These sets won't appear for a few seasons, but we heard your desire, Cognito, Evatis, for some new digs. Yes. Once we have more information, we'll let you know. Until then, we have the, new weapon. So again, looks like some D1 joints. I will say I was very pleased to see a machine gun in the fold.
I know. How long has that been? If ever.
If ever. I can't. I don't think this is D2's first machine gun.
For Iron Banner? Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I heard the hand cannons are 140, not a 120. And that's a 140.
I was like, I'd have to look up what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, I don't know all the names and everything, but I was like, it looked familiar. But yeah, it's like, looks like shoddy and machine gun. Yeah, it's like, I kind of like the cool art style on there.
Yeah. Yep.
It looks like the emblems on them look like the Izanagi. If you look down the emblems, it's like the big barrel of Izanagi. It looks like it's slapped on the side. It's almost like 8 of 1's helping out Salad and make some banner weapons or something.
They cook it up. So yeah, that was that. Then
I was like, hold on, I want to pause.
What?
That's literally all we get about Iron Banner. Hey, got a couple new weapons and armors coming soon.
There you go.
Are you changing Iron Banner ever?
No, take these weapons and shut up.
Like, is the token still going to be there? Sounds like it. Are we going to get any intentionality of loot? Is there going to be anything with regards to umbrals in Iron Banner? Is there anything going to change for this man with 4 bounties and a bunch of tokens? No, like, is the mode ever going to be anything? No.
Listen, like, they said, when we ready. This always depends on the resources are ready.
So it's like you said, that was an interesting piece where we get 2 old and 2 new. That's where the resource threshold kind of hits, 2. Now, again, it's 2 for this, and there's a lot of other stuff going on. I get that. But again, what are your thoughts when you read? This always depends on the resources we have for a given season. Are you ever... I know they're hiring. I know they're growing. I know they're making their massive studio and all this stuff, so they're growing, and it takes time for some of these things. But on the other side, when you're like, hey, I get 2 new ones for Season 14, we still don't know how long Season 14 is going to be. I'm very curious to either know, is it going to be 3 months, 3 months, and then just trials and Iron Banner every so often for like 6-month window of fun?
It's going to be interesting. I will say this. I thought it was very interesting. They actually said what I've always thought was that it's the first TWAB I've ever seen them say, you may get this depending on what our resources we have for. I've never seen them say that.
I mean,
publicly.
We've mentioned that over and over and over and over and be like, what are your resources? What's your bandwidth right now? Is this really the issue? Yeah, it is.
It's confirmation. It's literally, so that part, am I happy about, the limited stuff we're going to get? No. But at the end of the day, I respect that finally we got a reason as to what is going on, because this is what we all suspected. And they're growing, we just got, this is going to be the growing pains until they get to that point. So the vibe I've always contended with now is like, like I always say, like season in, out, depending on what's going on. Okay, cool. Expansion, boom, boom, pow. You're gonna get a lot in that thing. And what I would say is like every other season probably is gonna be, whether it be dungeon, whether it
Yep.
be now, fall, mostly it's coming back next season.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the cadence that we're falling in during this low resource while they building up kind of flow. So not surprised.
No, I mean, I'm not, but as
you
you said, it's we've said it multiple times. We figured that's what it was. You actually see it in verbiage there to be like, hey, we are limited on resources. We're not an infinite studio.
Right.
We're building things. We're doing these other things. There's so many different teams. There's only so many artists. There's only so many weapon testers and creators and programmers, and all those little things take how many people does it take to make a mission? We saw the figureheads. We saw the figureheads, much less the teams underneath them doing all these things. And that's one mission. So it's like making stuff isn't cheap, and Destiny does, still try and make things that have a unique feel, and that's not an easy thing to do. But in turn, this is why the weight is on the expansions, and why Beyond Light was cool, but also felt lacking, was that we didn't get that huge thing that holds you over and be like, oh, we got a year's worth. Yeah, you're going to pepper some stuff through. We didn't get the big year's worth. It felt like.
Right. The only thing that I'm sorry, continue.
No, I was just going to say, so that's where Witch Queen for me, the way, the way we see these types of things, for one, tells me Witch Queen hopefully is big, but two, tells me if it's like what some people might be like, oh, it's going to be coming in January. I'm like, that thing can be April for all I care if it's right.
Yeah.
That's me on Witch Queen. Take their time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about the seasonal length, but like Witch Queen, take your time. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what gives me confidence, despite I know people may not like news like that, but what gives me confidence is when you say, okay, you're actually hiring, the game is actually profitable, and then the team internally, like we saw a couple of weeks ago, or whatever, is like, Bungie! Like they're like war cry. Like they like, so something's going on where internally they're feeling positive about the future. That's always a good sign.
Well, and then that virtual summit had the same feel, which you heard a couple of people say.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So apparently, out there on Twitter, there was virtual summit something kind of.
Right.
I don't know how to describe that. Basically, before they took members of the community, flew them out to the studio, met all in big giant meeting room, talked to them like narrative people talked here, and they had a whole bunch of discussions from people who play the game of all different places. They had Mylan out there from, obviously we know that went well for him, which was fantastic. You had people talking about PvP guys, PvE guys, all those things from, and again, they tried to get a pretty good wide range of ideas, not just top streamer, they got a good mix. And shout out to, first one I saw from was D-Flawless.
Nice. D-Flawless was out there?
Well, nice. in there, in the little Zoom, in the little Zoom call.
In the Zoom, you know what I mean.
But that's one of those where we'll see. They're their thing. The question is, when they do these, is when they're at a weird point.
Of course.
So, what I wanted to ask you is things aren't bad this season. People but Trials is just getting ripped on week after week. Now, again, it's got some things, but obviously it needs fixed. PvP's not do you think it was a PvP based summit more? Where do you think it was? Where do you think it was?
God, if they got D-Flawless, a lot of his stuff is PvP, and joking and stuff like that. Oh my God.
If you guys don't follow him, God, bro, killing me.
Yeah, we got to reach out to D-Floor. He's.
Oh, I did. I'm working on it. So.
Oh, my man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's a lot. So look, it's been the butt of every joke. We know what the deal is, and it's got to be addressed. So what are they doing? And then the community's, feedback on that. And then my guess, the other part would probably be the seasonal content structure a little bit too. Maybe, for the PvE guys.
Leveling that.
Continue.
I guess that would be the other side, is because you've got, Kujay, he better have been invited. He's one for sure, because he's been trying to remake their game for him. He's one of those I wonder, because making this game is not easy. They've got a whole lot of stuff going on. And he's like, well, you could do this. Whether you're a developer or not, I don't know if you're a game dev or not, but it's still one of those, it's if he goes through like 8 videos, hey, let me tell you how to rebuild our game. I'm really curious how that's received. I mean, constructive criticism, he does it in a nice way.
Of course, of course.
But it is always one of those I wonder that's like, how is some of that taken to be like, oh, you just need to do this, this, and this. And like, I wonder if Bungie's like, and here's the white notepad of pages why we can't. Like,
can't. Exactly.
And that would be a fair discussion to like bring somebody in for that virtual and have. But it's still like, that's some of those I really wonder. It's like, okay, here's this. And they're sitting there like, believe me, yeah, it's like they're sure. But also there's, this slew of other things that say we can't do this for this, that, and the other because of whatever limitations, old consoles, engine, timing, resources, so many different things could go into why they can't.
Right. Yeah. I mean, usually, like I said, the summits to me are always whatever the weaknesses are, whatever the flaws are, whatever the community is the most upset about. PvP has to be, like I said, at the top of that list. Like I see people talk about, when I talk about per combination, stuff like that. There's still things, and again, the level, I think we're at that point now with a power level grind, that fatigue with it, and what they're gonna do with that's got to be another point of contention that they've got to figure out. So, and then I'm very curious if unset setting came back up and that kind of stuff. As far as like,
it had to be like, hey, somebody's like, so you guys want to explain why that all happened? Or that like, I want to hear the person who broached that subject and be like, so sunsetting, not sunsetting, wipe some of the old stuff out. Can you explain why? Like, I don't know if they told him or not, but I would be very curious to like, because again, it was that whole like, it lasted 3 months.
So weird.
So weird.
Yeah, I that is damn. One day, we gotta get one of us. You gotta get the call. You gotta get the call, man. Like I would love to be in one of those rooms in these summits, man. Could you imagine? Like classic ones was what right after Curse of Osiris. That was a classic one. I would love to be in there to see what they got cooking for these future. And then remember, those guys get to see future seasons, I believe, right?
They've seen previews of stuff. That's probably where the big Bungie cheer's coming from. All of that stuff. So it's like they probably get a tease of what's coming. They're probably like, here's this question. Well, this is being solved here with this. Like they might have those types of back and forth. And I was like, and I would love to just pick the brains on, even if I have a question as to, hey, I don't think this is the right thing.
Right.
Why is this way? This is my opinion in my head as one sample size of 1, not 4 million.
Right.
What does this say? Is your like 80% casual base say this? Is your hardcore people, you guys like, we just had to stop listening to them because most of like, we had seen drop-offs here. This like, that's the type of stuff I would love to just pick their brain ever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and of course, like, you'd sign an NDA of your life away on that type of stuff. But it's like, those are the questions when you're like, I would just love to know some of these things, even just so I have that knowledge in the back of my head to be like, I get it. I may not agree with it, but I get it. Like those types of things.
The mindset. Yeah, it's about learning their mindset, why they do the things they do, what's the thought process. Because there is some things too where again we're not privy to the data. So there's some things that we like, yo, that's the dumbest. What the hell is the stupidest? And then we like, oh, okay, no one's using it or no one's whatever. Or hey, this really helps casuals and look at these numbers that support that. We know they're very number driven. So man, one day, Bungie, man, you gotta get the KFI in there, man. You gotta see what's going on behind the curtain. Gotta lift it up.
Yeah, someday.
Someday.
But as for the other piece, it was literally a day of like changes, balancing, nerfs on 2 different games. I was like, all right, we're just going to do it all in one day and just get it out of the way.
Get it going.
Oh, come on. Sandbox is you, man. You want I'll do it. I'll do it. But I was like, Sandbox is you. I like to give these to you because you're like, you don't get your Sandbox wagon too often, so jump on.
Yeah, this is all me right here. So yeah, the never-ending search for balance. Prepping for Season of Redacted. We got to get that day. We have a few changes that will be coming to the Destiny Sandbox this week. We'll be focusing on things that are hot. Weapons and archetypes that need to be tuned in order to create breathing room for other aspects of the Destiny Sandbox to shine. Remember what I said. This is a lot of the reasons for their nerfs, so other things can go up. So please, people, stop saying they don't do that. Anyway, we're also planning quite a few buffs to underused perks. Linear fusion rifles. Put your hands together, y'all. Put your hands together. Dust them off, y'all. And more. The current plan is to cover perks and weapon buffs in an upcoming TWAB towards the end of April once they're solidified. But we wanted to get this information out earlier than normal to keep you informed. Yeah, earlier than normal, that means Outriders is here and we need to give you something. That's what that means. Continue. I know how Bungie, this is where they start to try to cook up a little bit. Anyway, without further ado, our man, Chris Proctor, is once again here to lay out the goals on these upcoming changes, give you the nitty gritty. Weapon archetypes. Aggressive 120 RPM hand cannons.
Are those popular right now?
Are those? Yeah, that might be a thing.
I think they're popular.
Yeah, those. I remember those. We've received enough feedback that we want to rein them in a bit without completely taking away their range benefits. The first bullet was these weapons will now have damage and aim assist fall off distance reduced between 2 and 4 meters based on the range stat. Ain't got no problem with that. This roughly halves the range buff they received in Beyond Light. Then we got Vortex Frame Swords. With Fallen Guillotine now viable forever, we need to adjust it a little, as its damage output is flat out higher than all other legendary swords. With this change, we're allowed to keep its high damage output, but are reducing its full reserve damage output by reducing the number of heavy attacks you'll be able to perform. So that heavy attack ammo the cost is going to be increased from 4 to 6. Interesting. I'm very curious about what you thought about that. Chip damage. Certain weapons, swords and bastions, bypass shields by varying amounts, which has caused numerous issues with stasis encased enemies that's interesting, encounter mechanics, and other content. We have removed chip damage from swords and
I don't actually know what this is related to, though. I really don't. I mean, I understand the concept of chip damage, but I also
think it's like a bypass. My understanding is almost like a bypass, almost like an ignoring.
Does anybody in chat know what this is specifically related to? Or they say encounter mechanics, stasis encased enemies. I don't know if it's PvP, PvE, like the chip damage.
Seems very PvE because certain weapons like the swords that bypass shields by various. So basically, it's a shield ignorer on a lot of these enemies. So this is definitely feeling very PvE-ish to me.
Yeah, I feel like swords definitely been a thing if you are going to use them on I've been able to probably break through shields even with the wrong matchmaking type.
Wrong match.
That might be it. Because I've done that in Lost Sectors with, say, one thing, and there's one guy with one other shield type. I'm like, well, I've got a sword. It's powerful enough. I can still bust through that and then keep going. So it's that makes more sense. Okay, so.
Now, they've removed it completely, it seems, right? We've removed chip damage from swords and bastion.
Yep.
That's a big deal. All right, so perks. Here we go. Quick draw. This perk is intended.
Hold on. I just wanted to go back up to the Vortex frame sword thing you were talking about.
Let's get the archetypes done.
120s, I mean, I'm not a PvP expert by any means, but in listening to enough of firing range and stuff like that, obviously those guys love your steady hands. Your Igneous Hammer is Igneous Hammer is God because it can run. It's 120, and it's also got a range of massive range, and it can almost have the most. So you're going to bring them down some. They're still probably going to be potent, I would imagine. They're probably just trying to give a little life to the others, a little risk versus reward. They're still probably going to be strong. I'll be curious to hear what they say. The one you mentioned about the frame swords. Swords always have risk versus reward, especially in PvE, because you're going to get stepped on.
Right.
Stepped on, kicked, or smashed in the face with a shield, one way or the other. So, I don't know. I mean, I know that one sword is specifically higher, but I don't think anybody's been saying Fallen Guillotine still absolutely amazing. It destroys everything. It's and I know they talk about limit down below. I know they talk.
Swords just got a nerf too before.
Yeah. So it's okay. So then you're gonna bring up linear fusion rifles. It's all right. We're gonna give linear fusion rifles 11.6%, and I'm just gonna be okay.
We don't know that,
I
sir.
know we don't.
You are throwing in fake stats.
No, I know. It won't be the auto rifle of 0.02%. I know it's not going to be that. It is weird, though. It's it is, and this is a frustration as a player to be hey, you give me a linear fusion rifle, but they still suck. Okay. One, this makes me wonder, certain things about what weapons are coming next season, what the encounters are going to be like for sure. Are people using swords to smoke Atheon?
Right. Oh, I forgot about that.
So it's like there are certain encounters where this stuff may be powerful, but on the other side, rockets were the example I would use.
Right.
For so long, everyone was like, rockets are weak, rockets are weak, rockets are weak. And it's not like, hey, here's 10%, here's 10%, here's 10%. They're weak, 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 weak. 18 months later, here's 30%.
Right.
Linear fusions have been sitting here this time now for a while. They've been weak, they've been weak, they've been weak, they've been weak. Everybody knows they're weak.
Terrible.
So the question for me from when we say that is there within a season we can only test this archetype to in depth to see about the numbers to go into, and if they say yes, then I'm like, then I get it. That might be, I don't know. Again, I don't know the testing process, but I gotta feel like, why is it? Is it the intention of the shifting the meta? Is that like their goal? But it's like, why when linear fusion raffles, everybody's like, error, does this video? Hey, linear fusion's good yet? Nope, still not good. Even with frenzy? Nope, still not good. And then finally, here you go. Here's this chunk. Is this the seasonal shift of the meta thing that they want to do? Or is it the like, I want it? So what do you think?
I think I know. I think what it is what you said at the beginning. But what happens with them is this. They have penalized. I think, you know when I learned it? With scouts. They outright said scouts are never going to get anything else besides this aim assisting. Because what I've learned from them is, besides us being in the bubble and melting stuff, they don't like us at a distance melting stuff.
Okay, so then what's wrong with a sword? I'm literally underneath the dude's foot.
I agree with you. I'm like, damn, swords just done felt the wrath last patch notes. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna see more with poor lament. More. I'm like, damn. But the thing is, I'll be honest. I thought linear fusions were, I'm team sleeper. You know how I get that. You know how I give it up. I thought linear fusions would never get a buff because I thought they were going to apply that same mentality that they do with scouts. Because let's be honest, linear fusion is stay at the back of the map and pop shot. Not that they were, well, sleeper in his prime was doing the most, but legendary linears, they didn't really have that much of a long run. But the reality is they just don't like the sniper guy, the linear fusion guy, back of the map, doing all this DPS. I don't agree with it.
Okay, I was going to say, that's one of those telling me how to play half of your game. Right. If you're going to have weapon types of sniper, scouts, linear fusions that are range from distance, but you're going to make them, well, it's a risk versus reward. Like, you can't make it like, I have less risk, so I have like negative 20 rewards versus the guy who's closer with a hand cannon or a sword, and swords are going to get shot down too. Right. It's like, there are different play styles. It's about trying to find the balance, and it's just like, they really, as you said, they really do not like the range.
They don't
but like you can also see it the way they've done boss encounters.
Yes.
Everything is like an arena, stuff moves. You can't, and like Sepix is like an old style. You can see it. You can still hide in the back. You can pluck away.
Right.
Shield Brothers in Dark Taken King was when they started circular, like circular arenas. Specifically, those were almost all that way. You have no place to hide.
Right.
There's not much room. If you pull out a sniper, you can't see outside of your periphery. So then they really felt like, okay, we're going to make the encounters that make the risk of like looking down a sniper rifle, getting maybe you get a couple big shots.
Right.
I felt like they were okay there. So again, these are questions where I'd love to know the why that they can't say publicly.
They don't want massive boss DPS from a distance. That's why I see you, New Red, but bows ain't killing bosses like that. They are coming for linear fusion, snipers, you know what I'm saying? All that straight line, super accurate, and scouts not too much, but even though scouts caught the wrath anyway, but they just don't like it. They've literally outright snitched. They said they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So in this case, to me, this is them throwing the bone, actually going to do something. Now, here's the funny part. Let's not get too excited because we heard this from scouts and they were like, yeah, your aim assist is going to go to the roof, baby. So I'm not going to get crazy that they're going to do something monstrous with linears. They might give us an aim assist value back that they nerfed because of the Gambit. Remember Gambit? Linears were in its prime. Everything pre-Gambit Linears was doing good. Soon as Gambit came out, they was like, nope, that whole class got nerfed because of a mode. I'm going to die on that sword. You know what I mean? So now it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But I agree with you. I feel the swords are unfair. I feel that it's risk reward. If I got to do a lost sector like you usually do solo, and I got to run up on there with that is tremendous risk I'm putting myself. Then you got every boss doing a stomp mechanic, knocking me all the way to the, you know what I'm saying?
Like
So
they build
I'm with
so
you.
many ways that you can't use the things that they give you sometimes.
Yeah.
I was like, and this is why the happiness of Outriders was like, you hate to see the fun go, because it has been fun to just break it in PvP. Because, I mean, GMD said it really well. He summed it up. Swords were never used. They're not a big thing right now. And now they'll be used less. Heavy machine guns, basically adds only. They nerf the damage on those. Snipers are hit and miss. Izanagi's Whisper depends on the encounter, where they're at, nerfs and those things. Linear fusions, not amazing unless you give it a big bump. So essentially the new meta build will be Anarchy and Divinity. So then they fall back into a couple exotics. Everybody, like, you want to like mix up the game?
Right.
Anarchy. Everybody still uses that one exotic. And that's still, apparently they're fine with it. Which is really weird. Like the Divinity and the Anarchy is still everywhere. You're telling me you're not going to put Divinity and something, I don't know what the choice is going to be. Maybe a couple, I mean, Atheon's going to get melted. Divinity, Izanagi, and
you know they're gonna put that
else.
damage phase. They're gonna put that damage check.
Yeah, you're gonna have a I mean, maybe, but I was like, you're gonna have a Divinity sitting on Atheon, and his big like waistband bubble's gonna be going on, and people are just gonna be, maybe they're sitting with their, shotguns again, little slug shotguns with extra range in a well or so. Those types of things are what we're gonna fall back to. So it's like I will be curious to see the changes, but it's like it does get to a point where you see Anarchy. Divinity is just that, like, that's what it is. It's like, that's the way to play.
We know how this goes. We've seen this rodeo.
7 years now, yeah.
But I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you the playbook just in case you forgot. This is what's going to happen. They're going to nerf these joints that we talking about, right? And all right, cool. We're going to be upset. We're going to cry. Then the content going to come out. They're going to introduce a couple of exotics or weapons with new perks in these other archetypes that are going to be amazing. And we're going to go crazy. And we're going to say, oh my God, this is it. And we're going to have that for a strong season and a half. And then that going to get that. So basically, they come in hot, overpowered with the new stuff. Like when Frenzy, we're going to talk about, debut. When Lament debuted, remember?
Oh, we knew it. Oh, we knew that. We knew that.
We were like, oh my God.
Swords have been hit once, and it's getting hit again and again.
This is what they do. I think it's data driven. I think it's to the point where it's like
high engagement and then lower it down.
Bro, it's literally get them excited about this shiny new toy. Let them fall in love. Then we take it away. Here's the next new toys we want you to play with. It's cyclical, bro. It's the same thing every season.
No, that's
why we're liking Outriders right now, because it's this weird feeling of feeling good about going ham on everything and
literally
with
everything. Yeah.
Right. And that's why we get into that thing. But even when Stasis debuted, it was just, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Now they reeling back. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. So again, at the end of the day, I know the vibe. You know what I'm saying? I understand what's going on. My whole thing is content, the quality of the content. And then obviously, because of what's happening now, we got this weird gap because we were doing good with story. Okay, cool. Yes. Now we got this weird gap now. We're like, okay, what now? You know what I'm saying? Is a banner again?
You ready for Guardian games?
No. So you can throw that straight in the bush. I don't care less about that.
That is literally from now. I think the season literally ends in a month.
Right.
So not this coming Tuesday. The next Tuesday is Guardian games.
Right.
The only leaks I've really heard is you actually have to pick a class, which isn't bad. I'll give him that. Right. But other than that, it's like, is that exciting for me? Not really. I think it might be rumors like a catalyst for Heir Apparent. We'll be curious what it does. Hopefully it's not too crazy of a grind for it. But overall, it's like, yeah, it's. I will say though, in credit though, they didn't have the season like all the way to the end. They do give you a break. I would rather have a front-loaded season. And then those who want to keep playing, you can. Other people, you get like a break to play some other stuff.
I agree.
I enjoyed the front load. The gap feels weird. Right now, Outriders is the perfect fix.
Exactly.
So it's like, that's...
Right.
I'd rather at least have that, but it feels a little weird, but I'm still more okay with it.
The last point before we get into the next joint is that I completely agree. I like the front-loaded season You know what I'm saying? And then for the people who can't catch up, the casuals, they still rocking or whatever. We're good. We're rocked out. But here's the thing. And we're going to get, I know we're getting into this Destiny Outriders thing, but I got to mention it. See, the difference is when that raid hit or when that dungeon hit, that's what Outriders don't have.
Oh, no.
See, that's the difference. When that hit and you got in-game content and you got the secret mission, that's when that's when you see everybody, all the worries go out the window when we doing that in-game stuff. And that's all I want. Not to make this a competitive thing. I just worry with Outriders that once we do Expedition 10 and whatever it is, what is left? Because at the end of the day, the reason why Destiny survives is end game and these cool type of missions like Presage and 0 Hour and the Shattered Thrones and all. That's what keeps us going. It's unique and it's so many things.
No, it's like
I just want them to do that. What's up?
No, and I was gonna say that's exactly what Outriders know they're not. They intentionally said like, what you buy is what you get. This, you have your expeditions to grind for the end game. It's like Paragon levels. And I don't know what the dungeons are called for Diablo. It's that type of thing to try and go for the ultra min-max for those who want to.
I get
but
that.
It is not like the secrets because that's so many people come from Destiny expecting anything like that. And it's like, it's not. Nothing.
It's not that. Right.
Like, it is not. And that's the difference. Now, what I do hope for at some point is when they drop, say, Outriders expansion.
Yes, that's what I want.
That's the piece that people are going to be like, as long as they leave you feeling good about it.
Right.
That's the key.
That's what I want.
That is when those expansions will just hit. Bam. Oh, Outriders expansion. We got more challenge tiers. We got new world tiers. We got new mods. There's a new class you can go back through. Because that's the types of thing. That's that playstyle. That's that game.
That's what I need, and that's the question.
And that's going to be a while. That's because they didn't plan for it.
Because my thing is, again, and the fact they're not even planning for it is my thing is once we get that, we get our builds, and we do what we got to do, right? I want something to come back, even if it's a couple months down the road. I understand
it's not going to be that fast.
Damn, not even a couple of months.
No,
not even 3-4. So what you think? What's your guesstimate on the next Outriders, whatever? If you had to guess.
Year and a half, maybe 2.
Wow.
I mean, if they're going to do so, picture Diablo, like what the Something Chaos or Lords of Destruction. Those aren't fast. Those are never months later. They're a year later.
You don't think they'll do like a DLC structure? Maybe.
Nope.
Nothing.
No, 0. That's why I'm trying to break everybody's mentality of this. It's not happening. I'm serious because so many people I see, is this coming? You've said it multiple times on the podcast because of what Destiny has ingrained in your head. It is not that.
I get it. I just want to keep playing.
I get it. And that might be, again, you got to watch how much fun you steal from like the 60-hour person who's put that 60 hours in a week.
Oh, no question.
For somebody who wants to spread that 60 hours over like months because they're still going to be able to go through that and have fun. If they leave and have fun and be like, all right, I got to the end. My build's pretty fantastic. There's some other stuff pulling me away. Cool. New expansion. Sweet. I'm right back. Right. You want them to leave that way.
No, that's fine. But my question hasn't Borderlands. I'm looking at like Borderlands. Like
not even they never said they're doing that.
No, but they had DLC content. They had content.
They did. But they had it planned up front. They were like, here's these things that are going to be coming out. People Can Fly said, nope.
So they said straight up, no, we ain't. Wow.
There is nothing planned, announced, period. And
but that's different from Borderlands and Diablo because Borderlands had that.
Diablo didn't. Borderlands did. Borderlands is like kind of tried to halfway live service. Like, Borderlands and Division, they have their seasonal things that kind of, okay, fine. Sure. Borderlands, I hear my brother said the stories each time were actually pretty fun in it because they're just crazy.
I thought we would get story content. Like, hey, this is what's going on with the altered, new, and not like a seasonal mode.
No,
of course
and
not.
that's the thing is like you would see, okay, from here, now we've built another story, like another like campaign piece more. Like that's what they did in Diablo. It's like, I'm going to look it up now because honestly, I'm curious the difference between the two. Diablo 3.
But to me, it's almost, I understand they're two different type of games. That's not what I'm trying to compare to. What I'm trying to compare is the game that it is in that genre, I've seen other games say, okay, later on or whatever it is, if it's later in the fall or the top of 2022, we're going to have, what you call an expansion. And this is, maybe not another class, but, more story beat and, a little more weapons or whatever.
Okay, take Diablo 3. Now, granted, Blizzard takes a while to do things. I get that. But 2 years till Reaper of Souls came out. 2 years. That's literally like, and again, Reaper of Souls and Diablo Loot 2.0 is a thing in that game as well. 2 years. That's why I say it's like they are so, because their whole goal was getting out. That's literally one of the things. You buy the complete package. Everything you're going to get's in this thing. We have no plan for anything else. They've said if the game is received well, if it does well, which I'm pretty sure it's doing well.
It's received well.
Right. Then they can work on other stuff. But they had to make sure this thing that got out there, they nailed the marketing and communication as long as they don't screw up the balancing and stuff. They've nailed so many things. There will be something. But it's
that's
not
what I'm saying. It's got to be. This is a moneymaker.
But it's not going to be that fast.
No, I'm not saying it's got to be fast. Where are you getting that it got to be fast?
You literally like months later? No, months later?
No, I'm asking a question, but I'm not saying it has to be that. I'm not implying that they're going to be pumping stuff up in the seasonal content like Destiny. I'm not going there. I'm just saying in a year we can't get a new DLC to it.
Maybe a year and a half. That's why I said you're going to have to give them time though. It's like the expansion is going to be
as long as something's coming. That's all I'm saying.
There probably is with the success and release of it.
We're done. That's it. You got it.
No, but you literally said like 2 minutes ago. You're like, we're not getting anything like months from now. No, you just said that a minute ago.
I'm
though
asking you because you're the ambassador.
I'm going on. What it means. I don't know any more than you guys besides all the stuff I've watched.
I'm not saying it's definitely but I'm just asking a question.
But yeah, my understanding is they wanted the complete package that you buy it, you got it all done.
Okay.
They're like, we have nothing planned for the future until we see how things go. They just want to make sure what they release works. Once they get things balanced, networking, patching, all that stuff is good, whatever they figure out, then depending on the success, which it seems to have gone very well, I expect something like a Lords of Destruction, but the timing of it is what I'm saying to make it worth your while. If you're going to do a paid expansion, which it probably would be, they're probably going to do one more class, I would guess, to make that worthwhile to jump in. Going to have a crap ton of new mods to come in. Maybe they do another tier 4. I don't like whatever level they go to is going to be that. It's going to be a bigger piece, and that's going to take them, especially for their team size and whatever they do. That's that 18 months, 2 years, year to 2 year mark that it's going to be that far. That's my guess with everything I know, because I don't know much more than if you read between the lines in their like press coverage.
Right. So. And my guess is, all I'm saying is because of the success of how well it's received, right? How good it's doing. They're at that point where it's satiated. They've got cachet. So now they know, okay, people love it. We're, invested in it. Now we got to go ahead to eventually start planning out whatever extra content. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was like, and unfortunately, that's just like they don't have a calendar because they don't want to set any expectations. I think that's the biggest thing. They've seen these people be like, hey, here's this. Well, we had to push, look at Division 2. They had a plan and a calendar. Anthem had a plan and a calendar. Those calendars, you may as well just throw them in the trash. So that's why I think their fear of setting any expectation of when things are going to come, they did not want to do that, to give themselves the freedom to be like, hey, this thing's out, we're working on this. And then they can just be quiet, work on it, and be like, bam, hey, in 6 months in the fall, we're going to come out.
I'll tell you as well.
Yeah, he's killing
me. Blink twice if you already play. See, that's why I'm asking him, because he that's my inside man.
Obviously I couldn't tell you guys if I could, but that's like the whole point is like that's why like you don't
you dine with the developers?
Wow.
I gotta get him. That's why I'm asking these questions. My man, no.
No, you need to ask Impact. He had the official showcase coverage, full build before the game was even out. Gotta be bigger, but and that's the thing is like you say like Cyberpunk, like GMD said it as well. Anything that had a planned calendar outside of Destiny's probably one of the few, and they've had a little delays, but overall they've managed theirs. They're one of the few that have been like pretty close. But most often it's just like Anthem, Cyberpunk, Division 2, anything that tried to maintain anything live tends to have failed.
Yeah, we know that.
They want to be like, zero expectations. You buy this, here's Outriders, period. If anything else happens, it's literally a bonus later that they will announce. And I have no idea, expectation, or timing of what that will be. Period. Stop trying to read like blinking SOS with my eyeball. If you guys aren't watching the video and you aren't in chat, you're missing out. So if you watch this on audio, please jump into chat.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah, that's how it is.
That's my man.
But that's why I've been like, I think I said it before, because anytime I hear somebody thinking anything is coming, I want to nip it in the butt because I don't want that expectation out there. Because
I like how
many
corporate got you good right now. You're so media trained, bro. I love you. Yo, they did a good job with you, brother. I'm really impressed, man. You're on the right track, bro. I gotta, man. It's been a long since we had one-on-one. I gotta mess with you. But
I was like, but I honestly like that though.
That's good.
Because like they've said, this is what you get right now. There's not like enjoy what's here, have fun, and that they want to. And again, it's like that's why I worry for them how people leave your game, because that's the Diablo quote. And if you want to listen to anybody, that's your Diablo quote. Like, if they leave your game, make them leave happy. Like Glad could get 100 hours in the first 2 weeks because he doesn't sleep. But if he had a blast playing it and people were like, hey, Jill of hours, dude, it was a blast. Go get it. It's totally fun. If that's if that's how he feels about it, sold. They'll continue to sell. People will jump on Game Pass. Oh, yeah, that's on there. Cool. I'll go jump on that. Oh, it's leaving Game Pass. Well, I'm still not done. Buy it. Like, that's how you want people to end with that game.
Yeah, set expectations.
However long they play it. So that's why the nerf hurt me more, is because of this is all it is for now. Don't mess it up. And it felt so good. So
that's where I'm at.
I know I'm passionate about that for a piece, but it's just one of those where I'm like, for me, one of those things where it's just, I'm a little worried. So back to the sandbox stuff. Sorry about that tangent. I don't even know.
No. This was good. We had to get it out. That was good. No,
like, I gotta timestamp the tangent though and see if I can get it in there.
That was a good one. It was really good, man. I really appreciate it. We love what they're doing. We just want everything with that joint to succeed. So perks, man. I think I was jumping into that and that quick draw. So the perk is intended to provide faster swap speed, but it also passively buffs handling by plus 100, which I didn't know. This completely negates the downside of using low handling weapons, such as aggressive shotguns, snipers, and hand cannons, which isn't something we want to encourage. Those weapons should have downsides, and working around those completely via a perk isn't healthy. We don't think allowing a fast swap to the shotgun subfamily with the highest one-hit kill range is great either. So the handling bonus is now removed 1 second after switching to this weapon or upon aiming down sights. Replaced quick draw with surplus on new and existing drops of Fellwinter's Lie and Astral Horizon. I have a question. Replaced quick draw with surplus on new and existing, meaning that our Fellwinters in the stash will wake up with a new, woo boy.
And Astral. Now the one.
And Astral, yeah.
See, and here's the issue on the other side. Bungie could never win. Because this is a live service game, they're like, well, we undid sunsetting. These other things we were going to have changed. Now we've got to do something different. Now, the issue, you see, and you see one person say this, and I'm just like, yep, this sucks. Their Adept Astral, if they got one with quick draw, now is not their gun. Yeah. And they spent the time to go flawlessly to a lighthouse to get this weapon. And now that's been specifically like something you were like, holy nerfed. Facts. That's one of those that feels real bad, like feels bad, man, to a bad level. And Fellwinters we know has been God tier for way, way too long. But again, that's one of those that's tough because this is something. Now, Fellwinters is like most people can get from a quest. The Adept Astral, if it's got quick draw on it, that hurts. For somebody, that's their playstyle. So I know there's a lot of PvP people who will be like, all right, now you got to learn another play. And that's where Bungie has to make some of those hard calls. Right. I don't play shotguns that much. This doesn't. There you go. IRL Titan, my Adept Astral.
Yeah, this is God tier right here. This is the farm. You know what I mean? And exactly what you said, because now they're in a tough spot. And this is what happened when you unsunset. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're in this bag, right? And now people who have earned stuff are going to feel a way. That definitely, we'll get into it. But Frenzy, this perk has extremely high uptime in PvE to the point where it's clearly a better choice than most other damage perks. We we like the high uptime and want to preserve that, but wanted to award less damage than harder to activate damage perks. Reduce bonus damage from plus 20% to plus 15%.
That's not. See, that's the type of
bad.
that's the type of nerf I wish they did in Outriders. Start small.
Yes. Yeah, start small, increment. That's what I like that they do. Reservoir Burst. This is a special one for me. Now increases magazine
this is
size.
What loaded question?
It's my favorite.
I was like, somebody's like, upcoming content requires revisiting the power level and damage perk that can be activated simply like. I'm like, okay, hold on though. I keep seeing loaded question because that's like the pinnacle fusion rifle, your first shot, and especially the fast reload, but the first shot would cause the big explosion of ads. It was fun for clearing. Cool. If they reissue a pinnacle, I'm gonna punch somebody.
No. This is what you missing it, bro.
Is it gonna be a perk for somebody? The perk's coming back.
Perk's coming back. That's what. Hey, see, I'm cool with this because my thing was I was so anti pinnacle retirement, but then when we saw the messenger and I saw Desperado come back, bro, I wanted to give a standing ovation. Okay, this is what I'm good with this. This is a good thing because even though you're not bringing pinnacles, you're gonna bring some of those perks back, and now we could have some in a weapon pool. This is good. Reservoir Burst literally makes fusions viable in PvE. That was one of loaded questions was one of my babies. This is a good thing. This is a good thing, y'all. Trust me when I say so. Anyway, let's get that. Let's get to the bad now. Exotics. The Lament. This weapon is a clear outlier.
What? No.
For sword damage. So for the health of heavy weapon diversity, we're pulling it back a bit. Reduce damage of revved heavy attack by approximately 16%. Note that the Lament retains standard anti-barrier despite removing chip damage. Thoughts?
Reduce damage of rev by 16%. It already got hit before, and then the chip damage is still going to be anti-barrier. It's fine. I'm sure it's still going to be decent, but again, it's like this thing I think has been hit twice now. You got the swords coming down, the spinny swords. Like they made swords, they were fun, and it's kind of what you said. You had your fun, fun's gone for a while. If they do want to bring it back, maybe they'll be like swords, like let's have this discussion in June of 2022. Swords have not been used in a while, so what we wanted to do is buff them up and increase their usage in the heavy loot pool. We've also reduced the amount of the stomp knockback and other things.
It sounds like a D-Flawless TikTok.
But like that's exactly what that's going to be like. Past versus like that. Seriously, D-Flawless. Like if you listen, but like we'll get you on. That's your past versus future talking to each other. Hey, swords are really strong right now. We're going to knock them down. Hey, swords that haven't been used in a while. We're going to bring them right back up. It's like, what happened in the meantime?
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's what like I can just picture. It's like this is the cycle. This is the roller coaster of destiny, as you said.
That's the
like
problem when you have a PvE and a PvP component.
Yep.
That's what it is. Because when you do something on one, it affects the other, and then you got this back and forth with the PvE. That's the problem. Anyway, Bastion. Since we're removing chip damage, Bastion gets something else instead. We've noticed increased feedback on Bastion and higher than normal usage in PvP. So we're making a small change here and we'll revisit Bastion later. Intrinsically staggers unstoppable champions. Increase spread angle by 13%.
And Mercules is sad.
Yeah, that's Mercules.
I literally was watching Fallout as he was reading through some of the patch notes because I was looking at the same time. I was like, oh. And then I saw that thing. I was like, I wonder if he's here yet because I was curious about the PvP thing. And then he got to Bastion. He's like, oh, somebody call Mercules. Somebody tweet Mercules right now. The spread angle. Like,
I gotta hit my boy Scream. Wilhelm Scream is a Bastion guy.
There's few of them, but it's powerful. Yeah, and that powerful. Spread now at range, it's gonna be it's gonna be harder to hit those shots.
It's gonna be hard to hit that shot. In PvE, it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna have an unstoppable champion intrinsic, but in PvP, again, That's the thing. That's the issue. So anyway, with all the balance changes, we'll continue to watch how they play out once in a while. We'll look to make further adjustments based on the observations and player feedback. So yeah,
And then we'll talk to you guys in about 3 to 6 months for the next balance patch.
Stop it.
I mean, it does feel little things can be tweaked, but their big cadence still seems like seasonally.
Yeah, it's seasonal. It's always seasonal. So that's the latest. But yeah, I mean, for me, sucks about Lament. Lament that hurts. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, it's still anti-barrier, but that with the chip damage, I don't know how it's gonna play out. That I gotta see. And then I do like Bastion with the unstoppable. I don't know how the chip damage is gonna play on PvE, but I do like that. I like having unstoppable intrinsic stuff sometimes. Exotics. Like what's the other one? Leviathan's Breath.
Yeah.
Frenzy, I don't mind. That's not nothing. I mean, 20% to 15, whatever. Reservoir Burst is huge. That is such an ad clear. That is and actually underrated DPS when you have the full it really could do some damage to bosses. Quick draw, where I'm at with it is kind of like, look, it's not going to feel good for anybody who God rolled that. That's not going to feel good. I'm not going to sit there and just poo-poo that. What I will say is they're probably figuring out a way to rein in Fell Winters and No Style. You know what I mean? Now the question is, whenever this is how they operate. They always do these type of nerfs, again, to set up supposed fun that's going to be coming with this new meta and this new sandbox of these weapons that they introduce. So we got to see. I'm half and half. Some things I like, some things I didn't like. But overall, we shall see. Hold on, it was Bird Bro. He said, you don't think they don't buff other things to bring up because they don't want us smoking bosses? I just feel they tend to nerf more than buff for some reason. I would agree with that. I think
they might introduce something a little strong, as you said, but a lot of things I feel like I haven't felt a whole lot of things like rockets were so bad for so long. When we finally do see a buff, it's like, it's so long overdue. It's like, thanks, but it's like,
thank you.
Too little, too late type.
Don't be messy. Be messy when you get a buff.
I'm just saying, but that's like, it is a weird balance. It feels more frequent that things are still being like slowly whittled down. And again, it's always the wonder of, bosses still feel chunky and have damage and stuff like that. So the sponginess doesn't go away. It's not like bosses have a little bit of health and they're more mechanic based. We don't want you to do too much damage to do this thing. It's still, so I don't know. I don't know. They don't have an easy win ever. I get that. So they're trying to do the best that they can and they're focused on certain archetypes. Some of them are just like weird when it's like the entire community is like, hey, rockets. And then we do finally see it. We're like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, I guess people feel, to your point, the buffs are like a season too late, so to speak. You know what I mean? In some respect,
more, yeah.
Or more.
Sometimes.
Shout out to Caggins. He'd been on Team Linear Fusion Rifle, so he was popping bottles when he saw Linear Fusion was supposed to get something. So we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to, he said, can we, kinetic autos. Wow, yeah, I didn't think about that. Some impact damage would be nice for trams. Yeah, shout out to Gary Track. Graviton meta was serious. Remember when we got that aim assist?
That was a fun one.
Woo, that was serious, man. Because that was the meta of Lance and Vigilance Wing. Those were the two that ran supreme. We got to see. They're definitely planning a new meta. We got to see what's going on. They always give us the bad news first, and then the season comes out, and then they tell you what the whole
get all the nerfs out of the way. Here's the new season hype trailer. Yay!
Hype train.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, and then they settle in 8 weeks later. Oh yeah, damn.
Yep. That's how it goes. But that's what I got, man. I was surprised to see this a little earlier. I know why it came out. Certain other game was getting fractured.
I mean, if you're going to do it, I wouldn't drop bad news on that day. They didn't be like, hey, here's a tease image. If they want to build hype, give like the artifact image for the next season. That's how you play against it. Like,
that's how you play.
Yeah, that's how you tease it. Be like, hey, we didn't want to do too much, but here's like a quarter of the picture of an artifact. Just like start building that baby. They're stupidly good at marketing, insanely good at it. So it's like if they really wanted to play that, if that was their goal, they had other ways they could do it.
I'm gonna tell y'all this: when that new season trailer hit, and that Vaulted glass reveal hit.
Oh,
Watch what happened.
Well, that's why. That's the other piece of why Outriders hit at the perfect time.
Oh, perfect.
Like literally nothing is going on in gaming right now. Not a damn thing, and you're just like, everybody's gonna play this.
Yep, it came at the perfect time, and good shout out to them, man. Like I said, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great old time. I'm gonna try that pyro though. It just as my lower level character when I'm running with other people.
Yeah, no, I mean pyro, like and that's the other thing I would say about Outriders is until you get towards like a full skill tree, get a lot of mods synergizing with your build, find a couple weapons that even like for a pyromancer, you can get like weapons that cause ash, and then you can have ash do certain things, and all this starts playing together. It takes a little while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any issues with the world tier automatically going up, bump it down. Don't worry about it. And then when you get towards the end game, then you start getting a build. Then you can start pushing that challenge. Mm-hmm. Don't worry as much about the world tier at first. It's not totally required. Should just be a lot of love. So
shout out to Trams. You got the slow-mo rounds. Love it with the poison. All right. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting into those builds, messing around more.
Yeah, I was like, it's fun. And it's like, believe me, going through on other characters, it's a completely different feel. So it's like learning it all over again. So the freshness is still there and fun. And I'll do a couple characters, probably play through most of them over time, depending on what comes out. Deathloop, we know, just got delayed till September. So Maze, I think that might be Mass Effect somewhere in there. But it's like new season will be coming. So it's like this next month of April, probably still going to be a good chunk of Outriders because I don't think Guardian Games is going to be anything amazing.
You're not pumped? You got it.
I don't expect the rewards to be big. It's like I may grind for, say, like a catalyst or something, but I'm not. It's like it goes on for 3 weeks, and I'm not going to put 3 weeks into it. Is all. So that's more it, I think, than anything.
I'm with you. Yeah, they go out and do something spectacular to get me to log in.
I'll tune back in to see the finale festivities, whatever those are going to be. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for next week when we talk about the preview for Guardian Games that I'm sure we're going to get in the TWAB next Thursday because it comes out the week after.
I gotta send a shout out to my hunters. Can y'all please make Guardian Games more hunter friendly? As a warlock, I felt that they got the short edge of the stick with the requirements. So can we please not have this Titan friendly event?
I think they just said it's literally class based. So shout out to New Red. Little spoiler heads up. Class based playlist activities. So like you might queue in for a strike playlist. It's all Titans. You might or all hunters or all warlocks. Okay. So I don't know how it's going to function per se, but it is going to be pretty specific to your class, I think. I don't know all the details. I haven't looked in too much.
Yo, Titan, you can't be rigging the votes, man.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah, get that Titan love.
You trying to bribe the kid.
Yeah, so if you didn't get Heir Apparent, that's supposed to be coming back. Potentially a catalyst for it as well this time around. I don't know what the catalyst is going to do because it literally already pops a shield and spins. So I'm not entirely sure what else. Maybe faster uptime for the shield or bigger clip or something.
Interesting.
Did someone just spill news? If you made it to this far in the podcast, you're a Destiny fanatic anyway, so you're probably not too worried about spoilers, and you probably already looked them up yourself, Trams. Come on.
Is that exclusive? No. Increased fire rate. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that'll work. I'm with that.
Refills the ammo on shield break. Could be. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so next week we'll probably get a preview for that. They'll be probably playing some Outriders in the middle. As you know, I still will probably start peppering in stuff for me. Is like I think now on kind of like my midweek stuff might be like Wednesday might be like Ori 2. Like that's where I'll probably start peppering some of those in. So, but yeah, I think that's all we got for the week. We kind of beat both of the games to death this morning. Having a lot of fun. I can say is like, I know I ragged really hard on the changes to the end game stuff. You'll never even know this is even a thing when you play through the story. So go through, have fun, mess with the mods, mess with the builds. It was like a couple specific builds got hit, but if you were like running a freeze build for a Technomancer, I don't even know if you'd know this happened. Right. So there's a lot of the game that's still totally fine and crazy fun. Don't get me wrong. Having a blast. It's just some choices, as you said, I'm watching and I'm just cautious. Yep.
Yeah, we're just looking at you because we want, listen, it comes from a place of love. We want these games to succeed and we want them to not make the mistakes of their failed predecessors. And that's where I was coming from. So shout out to my man Neil Mental was in here. Shout out to my man Slow Mo Backslap. Those are division guys. So when they saw that note that early, and then you know what I'm saying, they saw that so early, like they were just like, yo, just be careful, people can fly. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Let them have fun. And we'll see. You know, hopefully, like I said, it's not any patterns, could be something that's early they wanted to get ahead of. Okay, cool. But let us have fun, because that's why we're enjoying the game. That's why we're loving the craziness, the fun combinations, and just the micro, the minutia, the micromanagement is just so much fun. And that people like to go crazy. It feels good. You're like, yo, this build I made, I just wrecked that boss. Like you feel like a beast. Like
it feels awesome. And that's what I don't want to lose. Yep.
So that's what it is. We just want them to succeed. So I'm hyped. I'm excited to see where it's going. And it's a fun palate cleanse. As a Destiny fan, I have to admit, it's a fun palate cleanse just to be able to let your hair down and don't worry about someone slapping your wrist on something.
I'm just destroying guys left and right. It feels good. And I think at this point in time, it's like no game's perfect, but it's doing enough things right that other people should notice what it did. Like there are some quality of life things, the customization, the appreciation of the player's time, like the customization of the skill tree, the resets, like all of those things are really mostly well done. Not perfect again, but a lot of them are very well done. Classes play different early game versus late game as well. So if you're in a class, if you can find a way to survive or turn the world tier down later on, mods open the world up. That's the best way I can say it. So,
and final point, please, for the love of God, fix the server.
Hey, honestly, like when that patch comes, there's supposed to be a lot of good things. So give it about a week or so, and that's again like that week or so time to get those servers right. And that may be one of those things, like that April 1st date could have been like, hey, this is our window. We go much later. You know, other things are going to be there. So it's like, but the crossplay, the multiplayer.
I gotta play with my man. Yeah, I want to play with my man.
Yeah, crossplay, the fixes, the multiplayer, the stutters. That's coming in that patch. They're shooting week and a half. That's what they're saying. They're close.
Got the exact date.
It's in the line. It's not me. No, it's literally in the damn patch notes.
This wasn't that the developer did it? Oh, okay, sorry. You missed me. See, when we do 101. Shout out to Ian's time, y'all. It's that last word fitness time. We got to get back at that gym. We got to hit. Listen, you can't get out to the gym because of COVID restrictions. We got you, man. My man Ebontis right here doing these amazing sit-ups for you, getting everybody right, y'all. Look at the form. Yo, he opened up the room. Like, this is going to be a full season of calisthenics, y'all. Look how he got the room open for y'all. He was ready. He was ready to put y'all through this work and that pain. Look at that pain. That's a Technomancer style sit-up. Look how he froze. Look how he froze at the time. look at that techno right there. So we just gotta put a little techno beat to the back of this while we doing this. Get this rocking. You know what I'm saying? Salute. And the face is red. Yes, let's go. What we got? Oh, they got two more. We got two. Oh, yo, let me explain. This is advanced level. This is an expedition style leg raise, right? See, these full, we're embracing the Outriders flow. Look at that form. Look at the synergy, the parallel to the ground, and then back. Listen, this is advanced level stuff, and only Ebontis can do this, y'all. I'm just explaining to y'all right now. There's levels to this. They want you to hydrate. They want you to hydrate. We giving you that exclusive. You see that form? Look, all right, that form was crazy. Form was crazy. You gave us this superb fart training. Yes, keep them clenched. Keep them clenched. You don't want to do that in the gym. We got to respect the company. Friends don't let friends sit up fart and push up fart in the gym.
Sometimes you can't help those guys. They happen.
Hey, sometimes you got to let it loose, man. No doubt. Classic Flashpoint vibes today.
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
It was a good one. It was a good one. For sure.
This
is why. Yo, IRL, you stupid. IRL is stupid.
Y'all are killing me. This has been a blast this morning, guys. Thank you very much, chat, for being here.
Salute.
So many guys, Gamma popping in, IRL Titan, many guests just stopping by, giving some love. New Rad, the regulars, GDO. All of you guys this morning, I'm literally just looking at it in here, but Dakota, I know so many guys, Black Wings, Trams, Bird Bro, trying to give call outs to Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
All of you guys that have been chatty this morning, thank you guys. If you've been lurking, if you've been listening in your work morning, whatever you got going on, thank you guys very much. Cog, what do you got? What happened recently? Any shout outs you need to give?
Yeah.
Yeah, let them know. Yeah, what your week has been and anything you got coming up. But yeah, I wanted you to shout out what you got already happened.
Yeah. No, thank you, brother. Fun week, man. What a week. It's been tremendous for ILP. Obviously the being invited to IGN Unlocked again, which was really cool, man. Shout out to Ryan McCaffrey. Salute to everybody that supported it and showed love. And I seen a couple of people that said, yo, I know him from Last Word. I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about. We out here. Dude, it was humbling. It was cool to see, talking about everything that's going on. So salute, man. Really, really humbling when people value your opinion and want your back, So salute to that. And then secondly, obviously, we had Colin Moriarty on our special Tuesday.
Yep.
IGN, so check that out on ILP. And that was cool, man. Some really heart-to-heart discussions and stuff like that. Touched a lot of subjects, a lot of what's going on in the industry. Really cool, passionate discussion. So if you get a chance, check that out. That's on the Iron Lord Podcast YouTube channel. And then Lords of Gaming, man, moving out here and doing stuff on the website. And I'm really proud of the guys. Just still keeping on. We got some stuff planned with that as well. Kind of like some one-on-one hit pieces and stuff like that. I might actually might have to hit you up for something, a little secret project we'll talk about.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when you're done with your developers, I want to have
when
to
I'm
pull
done
you
with my developer dinners and my flights and my Zoom calls and my virtual things. Yeah. When all that's done, I'll see if I can find some time for you. How's that?
I appreciate it. Have your people speak to my people.
Yeah, we'll set something up.
So other than that, shout out this Sunday on Iron Lord Podcast. Check us out. We're back. We're getting 2 ILPs this week. So you had the Tuesday with Colin. We're going to have the Sunday with Windows Central's own Miles Dompiet. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's French. So, check him out. He's really cool.
You had Jez on a while ago, right?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, this is from the same camp, and this guy is really cool. So Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, check us out. It'll be cool. And of course, you better be checking out the Best Damn Destiny podcast that 2 people are putting on in the world right now. I'm super proud of what we're doing. The Last Word, just to hear E say all the guests that we had up until this point was kind of humbling just to hear it, and just to see us go strong and people, I see more people checking out the content and stuff like that. It's been really cool to see, humbling to see, man. And I like the fact that the looter shooter stuff, we're covering Outriders also now. That's kind of fun. You know what I'm saying? I was actually excited, like, yo, I'm more excited to cover Outriders today.
I mean, that's been my week. I literally did one quick Destiny video. There's not any story changes happening. We got most of the season. Mm-hmm. I've been, short for Destiny, mostly Outriders this week. I've been having fun. It's nice.
And having fun.
It's been a good, refreshing break. And these are the times, usually, like, if Outriders last long enough, kind of gets you a good breath, and you don't jump in, like, try and burn too much out at the end. A new season of Destiny will feel good then. And that's when Destiny's in its bag. It's like, took my break, fresh content, and especially if we get more story stuff like this coming up, the drip feed may be like, but overall, like, that new season is going to feel really good, especially after a break like this. It's going to feel better. So
absolutely. So what you got going on? I see those videos going on, those builds going on. I see stuff.
Still working on basically my Technomancer's got a lot of my time. Gonna try the Devastator for a different feel. Mostly just streaming that. Probably going to work on peppering some stuff in. I know for one of my couple Patreons that I've got, Ori is definitely high on the list. So that's going to be probably working in like variety days. Maybe it's like a Saturday stream. See what's up with that. But Ori and the Will of the Wisp, the first one is so good. And I think just as a shorter content, we've still got, this like Outriders is going to be a big piece, but Ori's awesome. Trying not to do anything. I don't want to start like Death Stranding yet, because that's always like big stuff that is like, this is going to be my X game for like the next 6 weeks. I don't want to quite do one of those yet. There's a big stuff that I do want to play. So there's never enough time. But it's just trying to figure out the pieces that fit in the puzzle. So
selfishly, can I get more different Outrider builds videos, sir?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I would really appreciate that.
I will send you a link to one that will have you crack up. Now, it takes a lot of work to get to some of the pieces of it. But there's some interesting things behind it. I tried it last night. It's okay. You won't die. Like if you're leveling, you will not die. You're just not going to go too well in the expeditions because you move slowly. It's the minigun, but it's a really cool. It's a cool minigun build.
Okay, okay. And are you going to be, because I know Devastated right now, so the focus is Devastated. Are we going to be getting some Devastated content? Are we
I
going
mean,
to
if I get, yeah, if
eventually?
I can get there, believe me, that might be like how to level up a Devastator, like
Yeah,
what the
especially
build
with
would be
the,
there. Yeah. So I
yeah.
was like, no, it's like I'll still be doing like Outrider stuff for a little while. Like, content numbers wise, it may not be quite as big, but it's still like it's decent. So it's like I do want to try and mix it in just to kind of spread the love a little bit.
Mhm. Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited. I get to
Yep.
learn more stuff. I'm in class. He teaching me the builds.
So yeah, for me, just stay tuned on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. You know where to follow both and all of us. But for this episode 144, this went longer than I thought it was going to. 2.5
Yeah.
later, much less the little preview part of the stream. It's been a long one this morning, but it's been a ton of fun. Of course, good old Flashpoint, as you said. 2-man vibes. We're gonna go raid Pigeon. He's gonna be on here in like 3 weeks or so. Scottish streamer. You might have to ask him to pronounce something once or twice, but yeah, thick accent but hilarious dude. So go hang out in there, send him some love. But for this episode, April 9th, episode 144, me and my co-host brother of the best. Thank you, sir. It has been